Hey guys, what's up? I am so sorry. I totally messed up the time for this live to start because I got confused because our girl is on a different time zone. Soonie, I'm on one time zone. The debate is on another time zone, but nevertheless, we are here. We are back, and we are obviously going to be covering tonight's VP debate between Tim Walz and JD Vance. We're going to be quickly going over what the rules are before it starts, but we will also be talking about a bunch of other stuff that is going on right now on social media because there is so much we have missed since we have been gone. I know the last time you guys saw us, we were covering the presidential debate. So this is the start of Soonie X Mo being back full time. And we will get to as much as we can tonight after we cover the VP debates. So please, you guys, enjoy the show. You know the drill. Get a snack, get comfortable, get a drink, go make a urination sample. So you're not like me and I have to go make a urination sample during the show. So get ready because the show starts right now.
You are now tuned into Somewhere in the Middle with Soonie X Mo.
Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay.
Hey, Don on the beat.
Ay, I got so many ups.
Everywhere I go, I
got so many ups.
so many ups.
I know they plotting against me. I know it's hate, they wanna kill me, but please don't tempt me, cause I got so many glocks. Ay, ain't none of them empty. Jesus said they would hate me too. That's how I know it's envy. I got so many ups.
Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome
What's up, y'all?
back. Soonie's here.
Barely.
She looks like she.
Do you saw my
she looks
camera
like she's-
fall?
While I was doing my intro, all I see like is the floor. It was like upside down. Oh, Soonie's joining us from heaven right now. As you can see, she is in the white light. She with Jesus. I don't know what's wrong. Your sound
Liddell.
I'm not hearing you very well. Are we?
You can't hear me.
delayed? Yeah, like I'm seeing movement, like you're saying something, and then I don't hear anything. Oh, there she goes. Let us know, you guys, if our connection is weird or if you guys are having any trouble hearing us. But in the meanwhile, while we get Soonie back on the show, I wanted to go ahead and review some of the quick things that we need to know going into the debates tonight. As far as like what we are to be expecting. Soonie's also going to be sending the link to Liddell as well, so that he can join and discuss with us. Okay. So here is what we're going to expect. So tonight it starts probably in about 10 minutes if they start on time. And it looks like CBS is going to be airing this. So we're going to be streaming this from CBS. The candidates will have 2 minutes to answer questions during the 90-minute debate. So it's going to be 90 minutes, just like the presidential debate, 2 minutes to respond and 1 minute for additional rebuttals. There will be no opening statement. So that was just kind of exactly like the presidential debate. And then the candidates will have 2 minutes for closing statements. Vance won the coin toss, so he will be giving the closing statement. He will have the final word. They will not be given questions in advance, according to what this says, but you know how that goes. Nor will they be allowed to interact with campaign staff or have pre-written notes during the debate. This is going to be moderated by Nora O'Donnell from Face the Nation and Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Margaret Brennan. What's interesting about this one that they did during the presidential debate that they're not doing during this one, which I'm not sure why that is they're not muting the mics, which I actually enjoyed when they muted the mics during the presidential debate. But they're not going to be doing this on this debate. So that's interesting. Anyways.
Yay.
Beck.
Am I good now?
Yeah, I hear you like really, really good, but the video feed, like I see my video feed the same way. It's a little bit delayed.
Okay. Guys, when you're watching, what do you see?
I see some people saying mine's the same as Sooni's. Super weird. I can hear you, but you are moving in slow motion. Voice and mouth are out of
This
sync.
is,
Very
of
choppy.
course, the day we come back, we would have this issue.
I know. It never fails, but oh well, you guys are gonna have to deal with it. Don't go anywhere else. Let me try something really quick. Do we have where we're gonna be streaming it from?
It's on Disney.
Okay. Do you have that pulled up or do you want me to pull it up?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think I'm not logged in on this computer either.
Okay, let me do that. You know, you guys, it's like you got to get back into the swing of things. Please forgive us. Please forgive us.
Yeah. I think just the time change is screwing with me. I was sitting here like, oh, it's 4:30. Dang, it's like 4:47. And then I looked and I was like, oh, that means the debate is about to come on. We were super fucking late.
I know. And she messages me and I'm like, what are you talking about? You're going on right now. What do you mean? Oh, Lord have mercy.
Do I look choppy to you guys? I'm not getting any feedback in the comment section. Thank you for the belated birthday wishes. What's up, Vanessa? Do I sound choppy? Do I look choppy? Do I look clear? Excuse me. Let me know what's what. Breaking news. Trump indicted because Diddy Combs was
I missed you.
indicated.
Oh Lord, please let us have time to get to Diddy Combs, y'all, because we have got some stuff to talk about there. Let me tell you. Sounds great, but we are both robots.
Sounds
well,
great. You're both robots.
As long as you can hear us, that's all that
crazy.
matters.
It's probably StreamYard, to be honest with you, because when I see me over here, I'm moving smooth. When I see Mo, she's moving smooth for me. So yeah. I don't know, y'all. What she said. Y'all remember when people used to say that? What she said. That's what she said.
What she said.
Y'all laggy. It's YouTube, okay? I have all of my bars.
She got bars.
My Wi-Fi connection is high as hell. It looks great. And I'm hardwired. I don't know what's wrong with this. But I know it's the first day back and we're already having issues. And I'm going to be honest. I definitely feel some type of way. I do. What the hell is going on?
I do too. I wanted it to be like a smooth transition.
Smooth, yeah. Now we got to move some things around.
Dude, what the hell?
Why celebrities die left and right after they arrested Diddy? I don't even know any celebrities that died. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think you guys, you just like, everything is symbolic. You're like black people. If somebody dies right after Diddy was indicted, then somehow it's like some conspiracy behind that person's death. And it's got to be attached to Diddy and the Illuminati and all these things.
I mean, I don't
black folks, man.
I don't think it's attached, but you know, today John Amos died, who played the
he's old.
Yeah, who played the father in Coming to America. Not the father of the prince, but the father of the woman.
That is not John Amos, girl.
Yes, it is. John Amos was the father of the girl, of Akeem's love of his life.
Oh, the girl. Okay,
yes,
okay. Gotcha. I'm like,
that's what I said.
He was old. He was 84. That was a long time to live. It was his time to go.
Listen, I don't know if it was all related, but it's weird.
You're moving at boomer speed.
I am not. Okay, present. I'm gonna have to, like, for some reason on Hulu, it's like only giving me the CNN one.
Cooper along with Jake Tapper in New York.
I'm just gonna mute this until it goes.
It hasn't started yet?
Oh Lord have mercy. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Bum, bum,
Anyways, Say what's up in the comments, y'all. Say what's up in the comments. Make us feel good about this because right now, I hope to God my video is not going to be
Stinking.
slow. It's stinking.
Bruh.
And I don't understand. Bruh.
Bruh.
Yeah, I know CBS has it. I know CBS has it, Judy. By the way, we can never play the Big Back song ever again because now they've got that copyrighted. Because I got hit with copyright after copyright after copyright on every video that I played it on. I was so upset.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord. Soonie is going, she's out of control. She's out of control. Okay. Aaron, we miss you too. Judy said he
I
died
don't
in
care that
August.
y'all
Who
are
died in
choppy.
August? John Amos, he just died.
What the Mo?
This shit
He
is
died
pissing-
August 21st.
What?
Yo.
No, he didn't. Listen, the
Yes,
post
he
just came out
did.
today,
He died
though.
August 21st, man. Just because you saw the post
Okay,
today,
well, the post just came out
he
today.
died.
Whatever.
We're choppy, everybody. How many bars
Okay,
you got on
so
your
who do you
thing?
guys think?
Next to the numbers, what do you see? Is it 2 bars or 3 bars?
I don't see bars. That's what's weird about it.
Okay.
Now, on my phone, I have 4 bars. I mean, I have 4 bars, and that's connected to the Wi-Fi. Shut up, Soonie.
She don't know what I'm talking about, y'all. Praise the Lord.
Shut up. The chubby short guy from American Pickers, Mo's baby daddy, died also. Stop! Wait. My baby daddy, Idris Elba.
Oh my God.
Okay, because the short guy from American Pickers is not my baby daddy. Idris Elba is my baby daddy, and if he died, I am done. I'm cutting this feed right now. He did not die.
Bruh.
Stop playing with me. Okay, so see, he died
He
in
died
August.
in August, but the family thing.
Mhm.
Go ahead and concede. Tell everybody you gave the wrong report.
I gave the correct report, but how was I to know? Because I'm not in the family.
It's literally listed on the internet that he died August 21st.
Okay, they said Mutomono Wakanda Forever also died. But that's not my baby daddy. Just because he's black doesn't mean he's my baby daddy. Okay.
That's not my baby daddy.
That's not my baby daddy. I don't know who the other guy is. Okay. I didn't watch Wakanda.
Your baby
Forever.
daddy is Dave. That's your baby daddy.
Yeah, but my
None of your children came out brown.
but my fictional baby daddy. My fictional
What the hell is a fictional baby, bruh? What?
like in my
What
like
is
in
a
my
fictional baby daddy?
like in my mind, my baby daddy is Idris Elba. There's more than 9 people watching. You guys just can't see, but yeah, everybody hit the like button, please. Mutombo.
Wherever you're
Mutu-
watching from, hit the like button. If you're watching
Yeah.
on Facebook, please do me a favor and share this live. Mr. Liddell, I sent you the link, sir. And you're still wait a minute. It says debate on CNN begins at 54 fucking minutes. So did we really just come live for no reason? Because I'm
Not
not
really,
about to sit here for no 54 minutes.
Well, no, but we can really talk about it now. We could really talk about other stuff
Okay.
now. Okay, so let me stop sharing
That
this
is right.
now.
We were supposed to do that. Okay.
Okay, you talk for a second. I'm gonna go check my connections going around here. Okay, so
Okay.
just tap dance away while I go check stuff.
She told me to tap dance, y'all. She said tap dance, y'all. As long as the audio is clear, I guess we're good. I'm not really sure why it's choppy, you guys. I don't look choppy on my side, but matter of fact, let me pull up the what you call it. Let me pull up the YouTubes. How's everybody been? It's been a long time since we've been on this platform, on this show all together, talking about politics and all these amazing things that are going on. It's pre-debate right now. I don't know what that means. Talking about politics and all these amazing things that are going on. It's pre-debate right now. I don't know what that means. Sorry, I need to turn the audio down. I'm sitting here looking at the video. Okay, it does look a bit. The quality is horrible. So that just means that I need to get a longer Ethernet cord so that I can bring it upstairs. I have an extender, and I thought the extender would work, but I guess not. So here we are. Here we are. Or, ooh, I'll be right back. What if I do this?
All right, y'all. I don't know what's going on. My son said, check task manager. Come up here and help me. I need my IT support. Task manager. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm going to check something really quick.
Can you guys hear me now? The video looks like y'all are using antennas with foils. You know how embarrassing this is? We're up here as like legit content creators, and the quality of this stream looks like this is being filmed in someone's backyard. What the fuck? Talking about Union Port strike? The strike in the East Port or Iran? The Hurricane, Joe Kamala, and missing in action. Oh, you're bringing up different things for us to talk about. Yo, this is really going to bother me. I don't think y'all understand. I have not paid attention to the union. I'm going to keep it on the way at stack. I haven't paid attention to that whole thing. Definitely I'm going to be watching in the future, but I have not paid much attention to it. I've been on TikTok making fun of Kamala Harris and her voters and supporters and just kind of having fun. All right, let's see what it looks like now. As like legit content creators and the quality. Okay. Now I have to log into this. Welcome, y'all. Enjoy the show. We hope you enjoy it. Make sure you come back and tell your friends to come watch this amazing stream. I know it's not amazing right now, but any other day we usually have our shit together. Today is just like the first day jitters back. Let the bodies hit the floor. Looks like a military member. Wait a minute. Looks like you're a military member in the Middle East calling home on a video chat. Damn. Yeah, the sound is great. Just the quality, which makes me worry because we have to stream the debate for you guys, and I just don't want it to be low quality, you know? Back up, please. Dang. Yes. No, back up. No. I said no. Sure. Close the door on your way out. Sorry. It's not 9 o'clock at night, or it's not morning anymore when my kids are at school. I can do these shows now. Real life. Smacking me hard, man. What do I think about Candace going in on her blackness and family tree? I think Candace is petty. And Candace is feeling a little maybe bored and wants to go after Kamala. I'm here for it though. I think it's hilarious. I think her like personality that is blossoming is funny as shit. Race for the White House live. NBC News.
Am I any better? No.
To see. No.
Dude, this is some bullshit. I went to my task manager, shut down.
It's never happened to us though.
No, this has never
I don't
happened.
understand why this is happening now. It's never happened. It's never happened to us, guys, but whatever. I'm not going to trip about it. If you guys want to watch here with us. If you don't and you're like, this stream's horrible, then get the fuck out. All right? We don't want you here anyway.
I want you here.
How does this look?
Great.
She said, I want you here. See, nothing over here looks weird to me. It doesn't look glitchy. It looks
not
pretty
even
well
not
put
even me.
together. No, you look really clear.
Oh, I look clear, but I feel like I'm lagging. Look at this. Never happens.
This never happens on OnlyFans. Go to OnlyFans then.
Y'all are funny.
We just have to call and complain to StreamYard and be like, hey, what the fuck's going on with your stream, dude?
Yeah.
You're messing with my stream. Okay?
You're messing with my money.
What's wrong with you?
All right.
Let me see.
So what we talking about today, besides this, because obviously we have a little bit of time to kill.
No, we are not starting all over.
You want to know what I had as topics and we can just pick?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Diddy. He got hit with more charges today. 120 freaking more victims came out. Okay. One of them, a 9-year-old kid. 20 of them in total are minors. 62% of them are African American. The rest of them are between white and Hispanic. Okay. What the hell, Diddy? What the hell? Okay. So that's topic one. Then Byron Donalds, he went on the Breakfast Club and gave them the smoke. Okay. He gave them the smoke. He went there with some receipts. That one girl that's on there, I don't know what her name is, but she wasn't trying to hear it. She was trying to shut him up. She was not ready for the facts that he was bringing. Kamala Harris, she gave a very lackluster response to the Iran attacks on Israel. We can play that and make fun of it if you'd like. And also the hurricanes. She really didn't do much for anybody in the hurricane. And they know, they feel like, this government, this administration has just left them in the dust. Of course, Trump is out there doing stuff, raising money. They even try to take credit for getting Starlink set up when that was Trump and Elon doing that together. But today in the White House press conference, they were like, yeah, we're getting Starlink set up. Get out of here. Get out of here. Union president, as you guys know, the union, the dock workers, they are on strike. And I think that strike goes all the way from like the East Coast to Texas. It's not good. Okay. But I'm not sure if I'm siding with the unions on this one because y'all are about to get replaced by a bunch of illegals. Because 70% pay increase right now ain't happening. Okay. It ain't happening. Okay. So it is what it is, but please people, don't go out and buy toilet paper and water in droves. Just use less toilet
Yeah,
paper,
don't do that.
conserve a little bit. I mean, I don't think this strike is going to last very long. But
Probably
it is
not.
what it is. It is what it is. Another Kamala Harris, she went on the All the Smoke podcast with what's his name? That basketball player, Matt Barnes, and then I don't know who the other
Steven
dude
Jackson.
is. Steven Jackson. Okay. So she went on there code switching as she usually does. The Arizona
Don't be
sheriff in
disrespecting black folks like that. You said she code switch. She don't.
Speaking
That
of
ain't no
black
damn
folks,
code switches.
Speaking of black folks, is she? Because Miss Candace Owens, girl, if you guys have not been watching, and I know Soonie hasn't, but she's kind of caught, some little clips, I'm sure.
I have been watching. How you gonna assume I didn't watch? I watched the whole episode. What you talking about?
Oh, well, girl, there was 4 episodes. There was 4
She's
episodes.
talking. All she's doing is digging deeper and deeper and deeper.
I love it.
I understood the first episode where she was questioning. I watched the first episode, and then I watched where she went into the grandma and how this can't possibly be the grandma and the white woman and all that. And then I said, okay, I got enough.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. And she did confirm now because she found like a relative that was listed in an obituary. She found that person's Facebook page, went to the Facebook page, and that person posted a picture of the white grandma, Vioris, okay, saying my grandmother Vioris, blah, 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 blah. And guess what? That person shows up in Kamala Harris's genealogy. So boom, bang, bada, bada, boom. She made the connection. Okay. Kamala's grandma is a white Irish woman. Okay. Now they still have not found any proof of the father by his name, Donald J. Harris. And what Candace suspects is because he was a registered communist that he changed his name. And so they're trying to find out what his real name is. But then she brought up today that Judge Joe Brown obviously spoke on this. Some of us have seen those clips from Judge Joe Brown talking about it. And he actually knew Kamala Harris's father and can confirm that he is not black. Okay. So right now it's looking like in Kamala's book, The Truths We Hold, more like the lies she told, she tried to pass off the black help because her family, this is fact, this is not me saying stuff that I'm not, have no evidence. Her family, who is a bunch of Irish slave owners, Irish slavers, her family had black help, and Kamala took pictures of them and posted them in her book as her family. It's messy.
I feel personally attacked.
Why do you feel attacked?
So this mean I'm not black?
Why's that? Oh, because your grandmother's white? Yeah, that's Soonie's grandma. But still, like, it's about percentages, right? So the fact that she refers to herself as Indian and black when the reality is her dad was born in Jamaica, but that doesn't make you black. That doesn't make you black. Just like she said very eloquently, Elon was born in South Africa. Is he black? No, he's not.
Okay.
Don't worry, Soonie, you black. Please take a vote in the chat.
I'm not black no more, y'all.
Soonie is black. She does. Sootie's black. Don't worry about it. Sootie's black.
Am I though? Because if we go back in my genealogy, there's a whole white woman that appears.
Yeah, but just having a white woman is different, okay, than you trying to say I'm Indian and black. When in reality, you're more maybe Indian Irish with like a percent. That would be like me taking the percentage of black that my genealogy says I am and just choosing that part of me to say, you know what I mean? That's crazy. Yeah. When you should take the top. Yeah, man. Like she's a fake.
She's not black. I know. I'm poking fun because Candace kept saying Irish, and I was in my head. I'm like, Candace, do you realize how many black people are fucking Irish, bro?
Right. Everybody.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But I get it. Let's make fun of Kamala Harris. Let's go for it.
Let's
I just be happy I'm not Kodak black. God damn.
Oh man. What's that clip you got pulled up there?
Oh, everyone. This is what it would be like if we had a woman by the name of Kamala Harris for president. And go.
Oh,
What's the message to Iran? Don't. As President Biden said, just don't.
Exactly. One word. Pretty straightforward.
Guess we know what this means. If we have a female president, she told them don't, and they said, okay, want me do it?
What's the message to Iran?
Don't.
They said, let the
ask me what my message is to Kamala about her being black.
Yo, that shit was funny. She said, what do you
Kamala.
have to say?
Unburden yourself by what has been, girl. Don't say you're black.
Don't. Do you see her face? Bro, look at her face. She tried to like look super serious, like, I'm not playing.
Yeah.
I said
I'm not
don't.
playing. Be scared. I said don't.
Don't you do it. She looked at a mom. Like she looks like a mom that's trying to tell her kid, you better not fucking do it. You better not.
And the
What'd
kid
I
is
say?
like,
that's what she looking like.
the kid's like, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Watch me do it.
And that's what they did.
Iran said, why me do it? Oh man.
Let's
I like it
see.
because in the background it's whispering when she says don't. And he says Joe Biden said the same thing. Don't do it. And she said, yeah, don't. And it's whispering. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Kamala could be half black. The
Fucking
reason
hate
she's
Kamala
getting
Harris, bro.
attacked about this is because she said my mother raised two black girls when clearly she was raised as a red dot Indian. Right?
Why are you non-black Hispanic MFers gatekeeping what blackness is? Why y'all
You know what
gatekeeping?
though?
How come Kamala can't be black?
Come on. Stop. Don't even go there. Don't even joke about this. It's not even funny.
Why? You're
Oh,
gatekeeping.
wait a minute. She was raised in Canada. I thought she was raised in Oakland. No black women or whatever. Dude, my
Vanessa.
connection is annoying me. You know what I'm about to do? I'm about to restart my computer.
Bruh, you're doing what? Listen,
Bruh.
simmer down now.
No,
You're just
because
having a bad tech day. You're going to shut your computer down and it's going to take forever and a day to reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to come back and it's going to be the exact same way. How much you want to bet?
It's not.
$20.
I'll bet you $20. Shake. What
Restart
are you
it.
doing?
I'll be here.
Okay, I'm gonna restart it. Bye, y'all. I'll be right back. I'm gonna restart my computer and I'll be right back. Why is my
Y'all
voice
saw
like
it
this?
live.
I can't get out.
Mo's going to come back and owe me $20. And then she's frozen on the screen like she's about to jump out and scare everybody. What the hell's going on? Is she frozen like that for everybody? Yo. I want to take a screenshot of this. Yo. That is freaking hilarious. She said it. Okay. So I kind of want to see what ABC is saying I'm sorry it's not clear, guys, but we can listen.
Because again,
This is what you do with the podcast anyway. Listen, put the podcast down, go do something in your house, go have some dinner, and just listen to our voices, because clearly we're running into some technical difficulties, but we're going to make it do what it do, and we're going to have fun with this. Let's get ready. We got 32 minutes left. Looks like they're going to a commercial break. So once they come back, we're going to tune in and listen to what the left is saying about this epic debate that's going to happen. And while we're waiting, we have 28 people here. Y'all, please do me a favor. Like this video. Put a thumbs up. If you are new here, you're going to subscribe. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell. If you're watching on Instagram, hello, Instagram. Make sure you guys share it to 5 of your friends. And who else is up here? Facebook. Facebook, please share this. Okay? We've been gone too long. Way too long. I missed you too. You make me giggle. What up, South Dakota, Cindy? What up? Who else is in here? Donna's here. Aaron's here. Heather B. We got Dominique. What up, Dominique? How do I make you a mod? I'll have to do that for my page. Judy's here. Judy, it's been such a long time, Judy. You already know what I'm about to pull out, Judy. Where is it? Okay, there it is.
Big Judy, big booty Judy. What? Big Judy, big booty Judy. Big booty, big Judy, big booty Judy. Stop! I wanna see you move it. Yeah. Big booty Judy, big booty Judy. Big booty Judy, that's big booty Judy. Big booty Judy, that's big booty Judy. Big booty Judy, that's big booty Judy.
Big booty Judy. What up, Judy? All right, that's some like weird demonic stuff going on. We don't need to be watching that. What are y'all's? What are your forecasts for tonight? I should ask. Who do you think is going to take this debate? Do you think it is going to be Tim Walz? Do you think he's going to perform and do a good job? Or do you think JD Vance is going to whap the floor with Mr. Tim? I don't even want to say, because the last time I put my hopes in a Republican candidate to come and, rise to the occasion during a debate, he acted a plumb fool. So I don't even know if I should trust. I don't know. What's the age difference between them? I'm pretty sure because Tim Walz is 37, right? I'm 34. I think he's about 3 years older than me. I'm pretty sure there's like a 20-year age gap or age difference between the both of them. Walz ain't got no balls.
Bruh.
He ain't got no balls.
Bruh.
That's funny. Shots fired, Judy. Oh my goodness. Vance can speak well. Yeah, he can speak well, but he's rather boring. I need fireworks. I want to be entertained while I'm sitting there listening to you speak. I want to be intellectually stimulated and laugh. I want to have moments where I can hit this like shots fired. Shout out to JD Vance. Another point for him. I want to be able to hit buttons like absolutely not. I'm dead. I can't believe you just said that, Tim Walz. Or this button right here.
Oh my God.
If he says something ridiculous. So hopefully we can have that type of debate. What y'all think? What y'all think? Me too. Yeah. I'm kind of indifferent. I'm here for it. We'll see what happens. So let's pray we get that. All right. Looks like we're coming back from a commercial break. Let's see what NBC or ABC is talking about.
Witnesses a major escalation in the Middle East. This has become a major story. We're also
it starts in about 28 minutes,
Iran
Sharon.
Firing more than 200 ballistic missiles at Israel. Now, Israel tonight vowing to strike back. This will no doubt be a question likely early on in this vice presidential debate tonight. Let's go live to Matt Gutman. He's in Tel Aviv. And Matt, any indication tonight from Israel when this retaliation might take place? And what are you learning from your sources as far as what this retaliation could in fact look like?
we got a hint earlier tonight from
Didn't they already
Israel's
strike
Prime
back?
Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, David. He said on television, live, that Iran, quote, made a big mistake and will pay for it. And basically officials here are telegraphing that the response will be ferocious. Remember, in that previous attack in April, about 100 missiles hit. Israel responded by attacking a single Iranian radar station. It will be very different this time. There's mounting pressure on the Israeli government to hit targets, including Iran oil facilities. That could cripple the economy. And for those trying to figure out exactly what's going on, right now, Israel is engaged effectively in war with 3 Iranian proxies: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, and the Houthis in Yemen, and of course, Iran. And all of this is coming during a campaign cycle in which the candidates have avoided talking about specific Middle East policies. But right now, it feels like it's being shoved in the faces of these vice presidential candidates. And as we are in the midst of this retaliatory cycle that seems to have no easy fixes or solutions, David.
Yeah, there's really no way.
You know what the easy fix is? It's got nothing to do with us. That's what the easy fix is. But if you are military personnel or you have family members that are in the military, I just want to say, Lord, be with us all. Calm the spirits of spouses that are worried. Because I was one of those spouses. I think I brought this up to my husband a couple of days ago. Like, it's getting kind of weird out here, you know, getting kind of concerned if you're going to be deploying or not. He's like, I'm not going anywhere, you know, but I get the fear. I get the anxiety behind it all. So if that's something that you are experiencing, your loved one potentially deploying based on their job, come on in for a big military family hug. We're all in this together. I understand it. I know you understand it. It's something that it's a unique experience to this community, and we're all in it together. Just some words of encouragement. We got Liddell in the back. Let me know when you're ready. Give me a thumbs up and I'll bring you up. Get all set up. Okay, we got Liddell coming up. We got about 25 minutes until this gets started.
Look at your partner looking better than you. Ooh. Yeah, it's all good. We take that.
It's all good. Now move your face.
What's up with your mom? Hey,
give me my money.
Shut up, Soonie. You know what? It's a government conspiracy.
Hey, who was right? You need to listen to the millennial, okay?
It's a government conspiracy against me.
Liddell is the only smooth one up here. You see how smooth his internet is moving?
Mm-hmm.
Just hey, that's what money gets you. Money's what money gets you.
She thought she was gonna come back and it was gonna be fixed. I tried to tell you.
So lame. Trash. Horse manure.
Right? How is Liddell good and we over here struggling?
I know, right?
Hey, I made calls.
God.
No, it's all good. Now, to be honest with you, my Canon, I'm actually on my Nikon camera because my Canon, whenever I have to update my software on my Mac, Canon it takes about a week or two for Canon to catch up and to make sure that their software is compatible with my camera so it can recognize it. So every 30 minutes, my Nikon cuts off, so I have to cut it back on. It's I don't know what's going on.
I need to get one of them.
But it's clear though. It's clear. It's clear.
Yeah, it looks good. So of course they're talking about the just so people can catch up. Mo just came back. They're talking about the war that's brewing over in Iran, between Iran and Israel.
Yeah.
And the response to it, and they want to see how, I think it's going to be a major talking point tonight for for both of the VPs and how they would potentially handle it or what they think about it. And to me personally, I think I talked to Liddell about this. I can't remember who it was. I said, although it's like listening to paint dry when this guy talks because he's so boring. There's sometimes I can listen to him and there's sometimes I can't. JD Vance, right? He is absolutely going to destroy Tim Walz on the record of veteran status and war. When this subject comes up, he better be a dog. Exploit the fuck out of this dude. Is it starting? Oh no, never mind. Talk about how he's stolen valor. He never carried a weapon in war. because he went to Italy. He actually skipped out of was it Afghanistan or Iraq? Which one was
Iraq.
it?
I think it was Iraq.
To go win an election, win a representative position. So I hope they really, really, really hyper focus on the military and force him to answer questions. JD Vance, I mean, force him.
Yeah, he's gonna try to force him, but Tim Walz,
I think he will. This is his first time at this level. I watched him debate. He's not a good debater. He's not strong at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say we're going to see if Tim Walz is going to stay on task, which is just don't lose the election, or he's going to try to win it. We're going to see.
Well, hopefully
it's over.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes because they're not muting the mics, so they're going to get to. It's like a free for all. They're going to get to talk over one another. Hopefully they don't, but if they do, I hope Vance interjects with some good talking points and not BS.
No, Kamala's not there to be childish. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yep. On the 19th, I'll be in Baton Rouge at the Southern Alcorn State game. The sports side of TITM media is going to be launching HBCU Live. It's the college football game day for HBCUs. So we launched.
Let's go.
Nice.
And so we are going to be launching. I'm gonna get a commercial for somewhere in the middle, where while we're doing live stream, we can actually show the commercial. They can tune in to somewhere in the middle.
Cool. You don't have that sound?
I do. I just felt like doing it with my voice.
I hate that sound.
I love it.
What?
I love it.
That's how you know it's about to get turned. When a DJ hit that button, everybody better hit the dance floor because it's about to get turned.
Y'all pray for me because I can't stand that sound.
We got our elder Liddell. Listen, Liddell, he done put the collar up for a little bit. He said, listen, y'all got me effed up.
Why?
Y'all ain't seen Liddell, bro. You know how Liddell is chill? Liddell is like the river, smooth, flowing, and free. But once the river starts to rise a little bit and it gets rough and you start to see all them currents and dashes and dives, that's what we've been seeing on TikTok.
Yeah, you know what? That one TikTok that I was on, Liddell going off on that lady, it was hilarious. Or that guy or whoever was on there. I was like, dang, I've never heard Liddell like this before.
Yo, it's so funny. I'll be in the background cracking up.
I'm like last night we were talking to that lady. Was the dude, and I asked him just a question. I said, "Hey, man, you said that Kamala Harris is the better leader on foreign policy." He said, "That's right." So, can you present to me what she has accomplished on the foreign policy stage? He said, "You misquoted me." I said, "Sir, how? So how can me asking you a question and you agree to the question? How is that me misquoting you? You just said yes. So all you said. How can I misquote yes? Yes means yes, right? Then it pivoted over to the domestic. I said, great. Same question. Give me her domestic policy. Well, she's the vice president. No, sir. You say that she's the better candidate. Okay, no problem with it at all. Present the facts. But Trump, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I said, every time I ask this question to Kamala Harris supporters, every time it's always, but Trump, trash. And I spend 4 or 5 hours talking about Trump. No, sir. It's time to vet this woman.
Yeah.
She's a coward. If she's afraid to go in front of contentious journalists, so to speak, in those environments, she does not deserve to be a leader. She's not a leader at all. She's a follower.
Yes.
By its very definition, leaders are tested. They attract the pressure. And you begin to see if they're a leader or not. This lady goes on softball interviews, which is just advertisement. All the Smoke. I love Steve Jackson. Love Matt Barnes. That's my podcast. All the Smoke and KG Certified. Those are my two favorite basketball podcasts, and also PG Paul George's as well. And Draymond Green's. But she went on All the Smoke. That was the worst interview ever.
Yeah, I only got through like 15 minutes of it so far. I want to listen to the whole thing, but her responses were trash. And of course, they're just sitting there like having to be cordial with her. But I hope they saw through it. I don't know.
They don't. It's character. Really, want to talk about character? Okay. So let's be transparent. Donald Trump has had 3 marriages. Playboy, terrible character. But both of these candidates are flawed from a characteristic standpoint.
Right.
Because isn't it uncharacteristic, lack of character, to have an affair with a married man? They get real quiet then. So I thought it was about character.
Right.
So I don't think it's wise to gauge who has the higher character. That's why policies should be the standard. But you don't want to talk about that because she has none.
She has none. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You are right. What was the other podcast? So she was. Oh, did you see Byron Donalds on The Breakfast Club today?
Destroyed them.
Oh, that one was good. Master class. He did amazing.
Trash people over there, man. Come on, man. Dishonest as hell. Angela Rye, fine, but she trash.
But he came at them with policy. He had policy after policy after policy, and she wasn't trying to hear it.
When that dude said, "You sure you want to go there? Oh, you sure you want to go there? Let me go and get it out." I was like, but that dude done brought receipts, and he go Charlemagne and DJ Envy.
Yeah.
Like dumbass. Come on, bro. He killing y'all on your own platform, man. Come on, bro. Trash.
Yeah. Yeah. It was trash. What's up?
Tomorrow, guys, I'm talking about, and students will love this, Trump's IVF policy.
Oh, that's gonna be a good one.
We're gonna unpack that, and we're gonna talk about Kamala Harris's interview on All the Smoke. No, not All the Smoke. I'm sorry, not All the Smoke. I'm sorry, on MSNBC. That right there.
Listen, Liddell, they're not ready to hear about his IVF policy because it's going to disappoint them to hear that he is very pro IVF and fertility treatments and whatnot.
Yeah, Mike, I have a concern with the policy though. A huge concern,
which is
mandating the cost to be covered by the insurance policy. That's really socialistic stuff, right?
Yes, I agree with you on that one.
And when me and Soonie looked up the cost of IVF, right? I believe it's $50 to create one vial of IVF, and they're selling from $1,000 to $5,000. If you're so concerned about price gouging, Kamala Harris, start there.
Right. Yeah.
Start there, not at the grocery stores with 1% to 2% profit margin. How about 4,000%? Let's look at the math on that. Good God, let me see that real fast. Well, okay, let's.
I got my white boy tacos, the mayonnaise and the tuna. I wanted to channel Tim Walz tonight while I was sitting here covering the debate.
Mayonnaise and tuna.
Yeah, that's the white boy taco. You didn't hear Kamala asking that question,
and you're eating it.
Yeah, I made white boy tacos for tonight.
And they're good? Let
me see.
It's mayonnaise and tuna.
5,000 divided by 50.
Says the woman who puts Kool-Aid in her tuna.
Yes, and that is bomb.
That's 100% return. No, that's actually 1,000% return. Good God.
I'm about to say that's over 100.
1,000%.
What's the average amount of time that women spend doing IVF treatments? It's like 1 to 2 years.
50 times 1,000, 10,000%. God dang
it. Per cycle.
Yeah.
50 times.
I just read about this too.
Wow.
They can do multiple in a year.
God dang it. Times 10,000%.
I don't remember the cap though.
Y'all, that is, if you are creating a vial of IVF, right? For
Mhm.
$50, selling it for 5,000. That is a 5,000. What is it? Hold on. No, is that it? 50 times 5,000%. No, that's a 10,000% return.
That's
10,000%
crazy.
return. And you're concerned about 1 to 2%? Get the hell out of here.
That's crazy.
Jeez.
Sheesh.
10,000.
So you're gonna do that. You're gonna do that tomorrow, Liddell?
I'm sorry, Thursday, because today's Tuesday. Thursday.
Okay.
And it will be live on YouTube, TikTok, everywhere.
Okay.
Nobody wants to have white boy tacos with me.
No, that's disgusting.
No, it is called tacos.
Dang. No, white boy tacos. The mayonnaise and the tuna.
We can hear you talk. We can hear you chew too. This is not appealing.
Dude, one of these days we're gonna have a discussion about tacos because I have some girlfriends that they're like obsessed with tacos, but it's like white people tacos.
See, why y'all been racist concerning taco? All this racist talk.
Because tacos are not. I mean,
Al Sharpton at?
I'm just saying, okay, like white people tacos to me are tacos that are made with ground beef. Oh, here comes one of them. Here comes one of them right here.
Y'all,
see?
Thank you. It has to be. They've been racist concerning tacos.
She's my friend. She's the one. Everywhere we go, she wants to have tacos.
Everybody besides Mo is cultural appropriation. See, tacos are from Hispanic delicacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're a Mexican delicacy.
Well, Mexican, that's fine. So, but you have a black lady talking about white people tacos. That's racist.
Well, I'm Puerto Rican. Okay, we don't do tacos in Puerto Rico, but like when I think of tacos, I think of like carne asada, carne guisada, like you know what I mean? Like real freaking tacos. Okay, like not ground beef with like shredded cheese and lettuce and like chopped up tomatoes. That's white people tacos.
Here y'all go being racist again, y'all. I'm about to rethink this whole partnership. Y'all racist.
Hey, we're somewhere in the middle. Get it right. We are not.
Y'all somewhere in the middle for being racist. That's right. Y'all racist.
You got Soonie out there doing whiteface in Japan.
There you go. See, racist. Racist. Yep, racist. Yes, sir.
She's over there liking the tacos though.
Yeah. Stop speaking in code. White supremacy. Stop all that.
How much longer do we have till this debate starts?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. All right. Well, what else shall we talk about? You want to talk about the strike? What do you think about the union strike that's going on?
Man, I got so many thoughts on that. Okay. I text a little bit over to Soonie a little bit on my thoughts.
Okay.
No, well, that's more toward the hurricane. On the port of entry, notice that when there was the locomotive strike, the train strike, Biden stepped in, right?
Yeah.
But on this one, he said he's not. So what's the plan here when it comes to this type of thing? Is this may be a play for them to kind of wound the economy. This is, and to make it, because what happens is whenever the port of entry stuff happens, it affects several industries,
right?
Several: real estate, oil and gas, automotive, insurance. It's everything, right? And so, what trips me out is this: here is, could this be a way for Joe Biden to stick it to Pelosi, Harris, and the party, but not stepping in because they forced him out,
right? You know, I think you could be onto something.
Or,
you know,
or could it also be that they see kind of the writing on the wall, and because they handled the hurricane like trash. So stop talking about COVID. Stop talking about that, because they heard that this hurricane was trash. And then number two, because of their response, they hadn't handled the support thing like trash as well, also,
Mhm.
to where they could see the writing on the wall. Most likely, Trump is going to win this because she's a bad candidate.
Mhm.
But if we can mess up the economy as much as possible, number two, win the House. We can investigate him to Jesus come back for 4 years. And
Mhm.
then number two, it'll make it even harder for him to be able to fix what we messed up. To fix it.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, you're right. It could be either one of those things. You know, in my mind, in my weird, the way my mind works, after they pushed Biden out, and the first thing that happened, that I recall, the major thing that happened was that they really started to crack down on Hunter Biden and all those other, allegations and whatnot.
Sure.
In my mind, Biden has secretly met with Trump, and he's like, these people screwed me over. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Because, I've always had this theory that I feel like Trump is going, if he's president, when Biden and his son or whoever, which one of them goes to jail or gets, found guilty, that I think he will pardon. Trump will pardon them.
I don't think he will.
I think he will.
I think
People
that
think I'm
Trump-
crazy, but I think he will.
No, I mean, I can see your premise. I think Trump is so, I won't say pissed off. He sees who he's playing with, like, hell no. I'm not doing it at all. That's the reason why Joe was like, I'm going to go ahead and pardon my son and everybody else on my way out. That was the deal. That was the deal. I'll step down. I'm going to finish serving my term, and I'm going to pardon my son and everybody else. But you better call off the dogs, because if you don't, I'm going to tear this whole thing down.
But you know what? This is what made me more convinced of my theory, is that Hillary Clinton, he did an interview where he was asked specifically why he did not come after Hillary Clinton when that's all he campaigned on in his first run, that he was going to put Hillary Clinton in jail. Remember that? So he answered that question, and he said, the reason why I didn't is because after I thought about it, I realized how it would look putting a former president's wife and a senator in prison.
That means nothing now because of what happened after he led that way. He went in with good faith saying, hey guys, let's be peaceful. And they said, F you, we coming after your ass. And they did. They came after him while he was in office, and after office, they tried to take his wealth, his freedom, you know what I'm saying? Everything away from him. Everything away from him. They want to put him in jail for 300+ years. So he said, oh no, it's on now, baby. If he wins, I won't be surprised if I was him. You know who I put as his attorney general? Initially, I was thinking about Ron DeSantis. I was like, no, he needs more pit bull. Cash Patel. Cash Patel.
There's something about Cash I don't like, but anyways, yeah.
He's a pit bull. Now, again, as far as being an orator, DeSantis would be the guy. But Ted Cruz wouldn't take it because Ted Cruz wants to either run for president in 2028 or become a Supreme Court justice, one of the two. I think he should be a justice because he's the smartest guy on the hill, whether you're in the House or the Senate. He's the smartest guy. The second one is Mike Lee.
Mike who?
Mike Lee.
Oh, okay.
So those guys are smart. They're so smart. I've been told that people are afraid to even debate them because they're that smart.
Really?
They're that smart. Ted, he's 8 for 8. I mean, he was 8 for 8 when it comes to Supreme Court cases. 8 for 8.
Wow. Okay.
Undefeated.
Okay. We got what? 3 more minutes?
Yes.
Somebody wanted us to talk about the Diddy stuff. We'll talk about the Diddy stuff after this if we have time. We are, you guys, going to try to limit our streams and our shows to like about an hour. And what did we say, Soonie? Hour and a half. No more than that. Hour 30. Hour 30 max. You guys, just because, Soonie's got kiddos that she's got in school and they're all adjusting still to being stateside. And we just want to be respectful of everybody's time. So we'll definitely try to stick to that. And then we're going to bring the second show back, but slowly, because we're juggling a few things, each of us. Soonie's also doing a second show with Cash, which some of you guys may watch. So we're just kind of trying a few different things to see if it helps the channel grow a little bit. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to kind of pull back your shows. You have to do shorter times. So we're just kind of playing with stuff to see what works. D is not going to come on, is he? Or
no, D is busy. He's been super busy working.
Okay.
And he didn't let me know that he wanted to come on. We might have some other people join. I'm still on TikTok. I went over to TikTok and advertised my White Boy Tacos, and I had a bunch of people come in. And they just transferred over here. So shout out to y'all that came over to the live.
Oh,
cool. But it'll just be me, you, Liddell, and then maybe one other person might come up.
Nope, you went. What are you on TikTok? Are we live on TikTok right now?
No, just me, just my phone.
Oh, okay.
Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
No, they can't see you. Hold on. Let me turn the camera. Let me turn the background off. My show's with Cash.
What day is it on?
There are 2 different pilots that we're testing out. Every Sunday, you can watch Breaking Barriers. Liddell appears on that show. Deontay appears on that show. A lot of other people come on. We have panel discussions about current events, just different things that are going on. So if you guys want to tune into that, that is Sundays at 6, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, so don't hold me accountable for this. But I believe it's Sunday at 6 that we do that show. And then there's another one that we really haven't ironed out the dates for, but you guys are going to see it. We've tested it out a few times, went live and seen if it worked, what didn't work. But Liddell's got a lot of stuff in the works. I'm trying to do a lot of things. Mo just went to this, wasn't it a Black Conservative Summit thing you went to?
Yeah, it was vibing, politicking, and awareness that I went to in Dallas, in South Dallas. It was a really good event. Yeah, it was a really good event. We had like a little bit over 100 people there. We had Chad Jackson speaking, a couple of local people that are running for office in Dallas. We had Colonel Alan West was there. He spoke. And we had a really good discussion. I was hoping to do some interviews with live interviews, street interviews with people, but you know how Black folks be doing. They had to have the DJ as soon as the people stopped talking, because you know they love they love the music. Okay, they had to do the DJ. So I had no way audio wise to do an interview without it getting crazy. So it was great.
So everybody on the panel is busy. We are 7 seconds away from this VP debate. I'm gonna go ahead and take the mute button off. Bye, TikTok.
Tonight, the vice presidential debate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, and the stakes could not be higher in a presidential race that is at dead heat. Our coverage of the vice presidential debate begins right now.
This is an ABC News special. Harris Walz, Trump Vance. Now, just 5 weeks before Election Day and early voting underway, the race couldn't be closer. Right now, the running mates debate in the race for the White House. Now reporting, David Muir.
Good evening again, everyone. We are now just moments away from the first and only vice presidential debate between Governor Tim Walz and Senator J.D. Vance. Election Day now just 35 days away. Early voting now underway. And Kamala Harris and Donald Trump within a point of each other in several of the key battleground states that will decide this election. Tonight's high-stakes matchup between their running mates likely to be consequential. Any movement in this race could make a real difference. Let's listen to the CBS debate.
Presidential debate.
Good evening, I'm Nora O'Donnell, and thank you for joining us for tonight's CBS News Vice Presidential Debate. We want to welcome our viewers on CBS, on other networks
No,
here
there's
in the
not
US
a crowd there.
and around the world.
Trash.
We have a consequential night ahead, and our focus is the issues that matter to you, the voter. Let's introduce the candidates. Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz and Ohio's Republican Senator J.D. Vance, tonight meeting for the first time.
I'm Margaret Brennan. In order to have a thoughtful and civil debate, these are the rules that both campaigns have agreed to. Questions will be directed at one candidate, who will have 2 minutes to respond. The other candidate will be allowed 2 minutes for rebuttal. Then each candidate will get another minute to make further points, with an additional 1 minute each at the discretion of the moderator. The primary role of the moderators is to facilitate the debate between the candidates, enforce the rules, and provide the candidates with the opportunity to fact-check claims made by each other.
CBS News reserves the right to mute the candidates' microphones to maintain decorum. We have not shared the questions or topics with the campaigns. The stage is set. Governor, Senator, thank you for joining us. Let's get started. Tonight, our country is facing several unfolding crises. The Middle East is on the brink of war. Americans are suffering from the catastrophic impact of Hurricane Helene, and now a labor strike as 25,000 dock workers from Maine to Texas are picketing. We're going to begin tonight with the Middle East. Margaret.
Thank you, Nora. Earlier today, Iran launched its largest attack yet on Israel, but that attack failed, thanks to joint U.S. and Israeli defensive action. President Biden has deployed more than 40,000 U.S. military personnel and assets to that region over the past year to try to prevent a regional war. Iran is weakened, but the U.S. still considers it the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, and it has drastically reduced the time it would take to develop a nuclear weapon. It is down now to 1 or 2 weeks' time. Governor Walz, if you were the final voice in the Situation Room, would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you, and thank you for those joining at home tonight. Let's keep in mind where this started. October 7th, Hamas terrorists massacred over 1,400 Israelis and took prisoners. Israel's ability to be able to defend itself is absolutely fundamental. Getting its hostages back, fundamental, and ending the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. But the expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the steady leadership there. You saw it experienced today, where along with our Israeli partners and our coalition, able to stop the incoming attack. But what's fundamental here is that steady leadership is going to matter. It's clear, and the world saw it on that debate stage a few weeks ago, a nearly 80-year-old Donald Trump talking about crowd sizes is not what we need in this moment. But it's not just that. It's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous. His chief of staff, John Kelly, said that he was the most flawed human being he'd ever met. And both of his secretaries of defense and his national security advisors said he should be nowhere near the White House. Now, the person closest to
Answer the damn question.
Donald Trump said he's unfit for the highest office. That was Senator Vance. What we've seen out of Vice President Harris is we've seen steady leadership. We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions to bring them together. Understanding that our allies matter. When our allies see Donald Trump turn towards Vladimir Putin, turn towards North Korea, when we start to see that type of fitness around holding the coalitions together, we will stay committed. And as the Vice President said today we will protect our forces and our allied forces, and there will be consequences.
Okay.
Governor, your time is up. Senator Vance, the same question. Would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
So, Margaret, I want to answer the question. First of all, thanks, Governor. Thanks to CBS for hosting the debate. And thanks, most importantly, to the American people who are watching this evening and caring enough about this country to pay attention to this vice presidential debate. I want to answer the question, but I want to actually give an introduction to myself a little bit, because I recognize a lot of Americans don't know who either one of us are. I was raised in a working class family. My mother required food assistance for periods of her life. My grandmother required Social Security help to raise me, and she raised me in part because my own mother struggled with addiction for a big chunk of my early life. I went to college on the GI Bill after I enlisted in the Marine Corps and served in Iraq. And so I stand here asking to be your vice president with extraordinary gratitude for this country, for the American dream that made it possible for me to live my dreams. And most importantly, I know that a lot of you are worried about the chaos in the world and the feeling that the American dream is unattainable. I want to try to convince you tonight over the next 90 minutes that if we get better leadership in the White House, if we get Donald Trump back in the White House, the American dream is going to be attainable once again. Now, to answer this particular question, we have to remember that as much as Governor Walz just accused Donald Trump of being an agent of chaos, Donald Trump actually delivered stability in the world, and he did it by establishing effective deterrence. People were afraid of stepping out of line. Iran, which launched this attack, has received over $100 billion in unfrozen assets thanks to the Kamala Harris administration. What do they use that money for? They use it to buy weapons that they're now launching against our allies, and God forbid, potentially launching against the United States as well. Donald Trump recognized that for people to fear the United States, you needed peace through strength. They needed to recognize that if they got out of line, the United States global leadership would put stability and peace back in the world. Now, you asked about a preemptive strike, Margaret, and I want to answer the question. Look, it is up to Israel what they think they need to do to keep their country safe, and we should support our allies wherever they are when they're fighting the bad guys. I think that's the right approach to take with the Israel question.
Thank you, Senator. Governor Walz, do you care to respond to any of the allegations?
Well, look, Donald Trump was in office. We'll sometimes hear a revisionist history, but when Donald Trump was in office, it was Donald Trump who we had a coalition of nations that had boxed Iran's nuclear program in, the inability to advance it. Donald Trump pulled that program and put nothing else in its place. So Iran is closer to a nuclear weapon than they were before because of Donald Trump's fickle leadership.
Wow.
And when Iran shot down an American aircraft in international airspace, Donald Trump tweeted, because that's the standard diplomacy of Donald Trump. And when Iranian missiles did fall near U.S. troops and they received traumatic brain injuries, Donald Trump wrote it off as headaches. Look, our allies understand that Donald Trump is fickle. He will go to whoever has the most flattery or where it makes sense to him. Steady leadership like you witnessed today, like you witnessed in April. Both Iranian attacks were repelled. Our coalition is strong, and we need the steady leadership that Kamala Harris is providing.
Negative.
Senator Vance, the U.S. did have a diplomatic deal with Iran to temporarily pause parts of its nuclear program, and President Trump did exit that deal. He recently said, just 5 days ago, the U.S. must now make a diplomatic deal with Iran because the consequences are impossible. Did he make a mistake? You have 1 minute.
Well, first of all, Margaret, diplomacy is not a dirty word, but I think that's something that Governor Walz just said is quite extraordinary. You yourself just said Iran is as close to a nuclear weapon today as they have ever been. And Governor Walz, you blame Donald Trump. Who has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years? And the answer is your running mate, not mine. Donald Trump consistently made the world more secure. Now, we talk about what the sequence of events that led us to where we are right now, and you can't ignore October the 7th, which I appreciate Governor Walz bringing up. But when did Iran and Hamas and their proxies attack Israel? It was during the administration of Kamala Harris. So Governor Walz can criticize
Vance looks
Donald
nervous.
Trump's tweets, but effective, smart
Not at
diplomacy
all.
and peace through strength.
I mean, not Vance,
is
the
how
other
you
guy.
bring stability back to a very broken world. Donald Trump has already done it once before. Ask yourself at home, when was the last time, I'm 40 years old, when was the last time that an American president didn't have a major conflict break out? The only answer is during the 4 years that Donald Trump was president.
He killing it, bro.
Gentlemen, we have a lot
He
to get
killing
to.
it.
Nora?
Margaret, thank you. Let's turn now to Hurricane Helene. The storm could become one of the deadliest on record. More than 160 people are dead and hundreds more are missing. Scientists say climate change makes these hurricanes larger, stronger, and more deadly because of the historic rainfall. Senator Vance, according to CBS News polling, 7 in 10 Americans and more than 60% of Republicans under the age of 45 favor the U.S. taking steps to try and reduce climate change. Senator, what responsibility would the Trump administration have to try and reduce the impact of climate change I'll give you 2 minutes.
Sure. So first of all, let's start with the hurricane, because it's an unbelievable, unspeakable human tragedy. I just saw today actually a photograph of 2 grandparents on a roof with a 6-year-old child, and it was the last photograph ever taken of them because the roof collapsed and those innocent people lost their lives. And I'm sure Governor Walz joins me in saying our hearts go out to those innocent people, our prayers go out to them, and we want as robust and aggressive as a federal response as we can get to save as many lives as possible, and then of course afterwards to help the people in those communities rebuild. I mean, these are communities that I love. Some of them I know very personally in Appalachia, all across the Southeast. They need their government to do their job, and I commit that when Donald Trump is president again, the government will put the citizens of this country first when they suffer from a disaster. And Nora, you asked about climate change. I think this is a very important issue. Look, a lot of people are justifiably worried about all these crazy weather patterns. I think it's important for us, first of all, to say Donald Trump and I support clean air, clean water. We want the environment to be cleaner and safer. But one of the things that I've noticed some of our Democratic friends talking a lot about is a concern about carbon emissions, this idea that carbon emissions drives all of the climate change. Well, let's just say that's true, just for the sake of argument, so we're not arguing about weird science. Let's just say that's true. Well, if you believe that, what would you want to do? The answer is that you'd want to reshore as much American manufacturing as possible, and you'd want to produce as much energy as possible in the United States of America, because we're the cleanest economy in the entire world. What have Kamala Harris's policies actually led to? More energy production in China, more manufacturing overseas, more doing business in some of the dirtiest parts of the entire world. And when I say that, I mean the amount of carbon emissions they're doing per unit of economic output. So if we actually care about getting cleaner air and cleaner water, the best thing to do is to double down and invest in American workers and the American people. And unfortunately, Kamala Harris has done exactly the opposite.
Governor Walz, you have 2 minutes to respond.
We got close to an agreement because all those things are happening. Look, first of all, it is a horrific tragedy with this hurricane, and my heart goes out to the folks that are down there in contact with the governors. I serve as co-chair of the Council of Governors as we work together on these emergency managements. Governors know no partisanship. They work together to solve. The governors and the emergency responders are on the ground. Those happen on the front end. The federal government comes in, makes sure they're there to that we recover, but we're still in that phase where we need to make sure that they're staying there, staying focused. Now, look, coming back to the climate change issue, there's no doubt this thing roared onto the scene faster and stronger than anything we've seen. Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past. Donald Trump called it a hoax and then joked that these things would make more beachfront property to be able to invest in. What we've seen out of the Harris administration now, the Biden-Harris administration, is we've seen this investment. We've seen massive investments, the biggest in global history that we've seen in the Inflation Reduction Act, have created jobs all across the country. 2,000 in Jeffersonville, Ohio, taking the EV technology that we invented and making it here. 200,000 jobs across the country. The largest solar manufacturing plant in North America sits in Minnesota. But my farmers know climate change is real. They've seen 500-year droughts, 500-year floods back to back. But what they're doing is adapting, and this has allowed them to tell me, look, I harvest corn, I harvest soybean, and I harvest wind. We are producing more natural gas and more oil at any time than we ever have. We're also producing more clean energy. So the solution for us is to continue to move forward, that climate change is real. Reducing our impact is absolutely critical, but this is not a false choice. You can do that at the same time you're creating the jobs that we're seeing all across the country. That's exactly what this administration has done. We are seeing us becoming an energy superpower for the future, not just the current. And that's what absolutely makes sense. And then we start thinking about how do we mitigate these disasters.
Thank you. Senator, I want to give you an opportunity to respond there. The governor
mentioned
that
Vance.
President Trump has called climate change a hoax.
Say it's a hoax.
Well, look, what the president has said is that if the Democrats, in particular Kamala Harris and her leadership, if they really believe that climate change is serious, what they would be doing is more manufacturing and more energy production in the United States of America, and that's not what they're doing. So clearly, Kamala Harris herself doesn't believe her own rhetoric on this. If she did, she would actually agree with Donald Trump's energy policies. Now, something Governor Walz said I think is important to touch upon, because when we talk about clean energy, I think that's a slogan that often the Democrats Democrats will use here. And I'm talking, of course, about the Democratic leadership. And the real issue is that if you're spending hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars of American taxpayer money on solar panels that are made in China, number one, you're going to make the economy dirtier. We should be making more of those solar panels here in the United States of America. Some of them are, Tim, but a lot of them are being made overseas in China, especially the components that go into those solar panels. So if you really want to make the environment cleaner, you've got to invest in more energy production. We haven't built a nuclear facility, I think,
he could go, if they gave him more time, he could keep
Natural
going.
gas, we got to invest more in it. Kamala Harris has done the opposite. That's raised energy prices and
Told
also
y'all.
meant that we're doing
Senator,
worse by
your
the
time
climate.
is up. Governor, would you like to respond?
Yep, cut him off.
Well,
He's kicking his ass.
We're producing more natural gas than we ever have. There's no moratorium on that. We're producing more oil. But the folks know, and like I said again, these are not liberal folks. These are not folks that are Green New Deal folks. These are farmers that have been drought one year, massive flooding the next year. They understand that it makes sense. Look, our number one export cannot be topsoil from erosion from these massive storms. We saw it in Minnesota this summer. And thinking about how do we respond to that, we're thinking ahead on this. And what Kamala Harris has been able to do in Minnesota, we're starting to weatherproof some of these things. The infrastructure law that was passed allows us to think about mitigation in the future. How do we make sure that we're protecting by burying our power lines? How do we make sure that we're protecting lakefronts and things that we're seeing more and more of? But to call it a hoax and to take the oil company executives to Mar-a-Lago, say, give me money for my campaign, and I'll let you do whatever you want. We can be smarter about that, and an all-above energy policy is exactly what she's doing, creating those jobs right here.
How's war helping your climate change, dude?
The consensus among scientists is that the Earth's climate is warming at an unprecedented rate. Margaret?
Thank you, Nora. We're going to turn now to immigration. The crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border consistently ranks as one of the top issues for American voters. Senator Vance, your campaign is pledging to carry out the largest mass deportation plan in American history and to use the U.S. military to do so. Could you be more specific about exactly how this will work? For example, would you deport parents who have entered the U.S. illegally and separate them from any of their children who were born on U.S. soil? You have 2 minutes.
So first of all, Margaret, before we talk about deportations, we have to stop the bleeding. We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies.
That's
94
right.
executive orders suspending deportations, decriminalizing illegal aliens, massively increasing the asylum fraud that exists in our system. That has opened the floodgates. And what it's meant is that a lot of fentanyl is coming into our country. I had a mother who struggled with opioid addiction and has gotten clean. I don't want people who are struggling with addiction to be deprived of their second chance because Kamala Harris let in fentanyl into our communities at record levels. So you've got to stop the bleeding. You've got to re-implement Donald Trump's border policies, build the wall, re-implement deportations. And that gets me to your point, Margaret, about what do we actually do? So we've got 25 million illegal aliens who are here in the country. What do we do with them? I think the first thing that we do is we start with the criminal migrants. About 1 million of those people have committed some form of crime in addition to crossing the border illegally. I think you start with deportations on those folks. And then I think you make it harder for illegal aliens to undercut the wages of American workers. A lot of people will go home if they can't work for less than minimum wage in our own country. And by the way, that'll be really good for our workers who just want to earn a fair wage for doing a good day's work. And the final point, Margaret, is you ask about family separation. Right now in this country, Margaret, we have 320,000 children that the Department of Homeland Security has effectively lost. Some of them have been sex trafficked. Some of them hopefully are at homes with their families. Some of them have been used as drug trafficking mules. The real family separation policy in this country is unfortunately Kamala Harris's wide open southern border. And I'd ask my fellow Americans to remember when she came into office, she said she was going to do this. Real leadership would be saying, you know what, I screwed up. We're going to go back to Donald Trump's border policies. I wish that she would do that for all of us.
Governor, do you care to respond to any of those specific allegations, including that the vice president is, quote, letting in fentanyl and using kids as drug mules, among other things regarding children.
The drug mule is not true, but I will say about this, about the fentanyl, because this is a crisis.
What?
This the opioid crisis, and the good news on
FAFO
this is
fact checkers, let's go.
the largest decrease in opioid deaths in our nation's history. 30% decrease in Ohio, but there's still more work to do. But let's go back to this on immigration. Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of the largest state and a border state in California. She's the only person in this race who prosecuted transnational gangs for human trafficking and drug interventions. But
address what he said.
We all want to solve this. Most of us want to solve this. And that is the United States Congress. That's the Border Patrol agents. That's the Chamber of Commerce. That's most Americans out here. That's why we had the fairest and the toughest bill on immigration that this nation's seen.
And Border Patrol said she didn't do shit.
Conservative senator from Oklahoma, James Lankford. I know him. He's super conservative, but he's a man of principle, wants to get it done. Democrats and Republicans worked on this piece of legislation. The Border Patrol said, this is what we need in here. These are the experts. And the Chamber of Commerce and the Wall Street Journal said, pass this thing. Kamala Harris helped get there. 1,500 new border agents, detection for drugs, DOJ money to speed up these the adjudications on this, just what America wants. But as soon as I was getting ready to pass and actually tackle this, Donald Trump said no, told them to vote against it because it gives him a campaign issue.
Oh, I hope he says why.
What would Donald Trump talk about if we actually did some of these things? And they need to be done by the legislature. You can't just do this through the executive branch. So look, we have options to do this. Donald Trump had 4 years. He had 4 years to do this. And he promised you, America, how easy it would be. I'll build you a big, beautiful wall. And Mexico will pay for it. Less than 2% of that wall got built, and Mexico didn't pay a dime. But here we are again, 9 years after he came down that escalator, dehumanizing people and telling them what he was going to do. As far as the deportation plan, at one point, Senator Vance said it was so unworkable to be laughable. So that's where we're at. Pass the bill, she'll sign it.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, the question was, will you separate parents from their children, even if their kids are U.S. citizens? You have 1 minute.
Margaret, my point is that we already have massive child separations thanks to Kamala Harris's open border. And I didn't accuse Kamala Harris of inviting drug mules. I said that she enabled the Mexican drug cartels to operate freely in this country. And we know that they use children as drug mules, and it is a disgrace, and it has to stop. Look, I think what Tim said just doesn't pass the smell test. For 3 years, Kamala Harris went out bragging that she was going to undo Donald Trump's border policy. She did exactly that. We had a record number of illegal crossings. We had a record number of fentanyl coming into our country. And now that she's running for president, or a few months before, she says that somehow she got religion and cared a lot about a piece of legislation. The only thing that she did when she became the vice president, when she became the appointed border czar, was to undo 94 Donald Trump executive actions that opened the border. This problem is leading to massive problems in the United States of America. Parents who can't afford health care, schools that are overwhelmed. It's got to stop, and it will when Donald Trump is president again.
Senator, your time is up. Governor, what about our CBS News polling, which does show that a majority of Americans, more than 50%, support mass deportations?
Look, we fix this issue with a bill that is necessary, but the issue on this is what happens when you don't want to solve it. You demonize it. And we saw this, and Senator Vance, and it surprises me on this, talking about and saying, I will create stories to bring attention to this. That vilified a large number of people who were here legally in the community of Springfield. The Republican governor said, it's not true, don't do it. There's consequences for this. There's consequences. We could come together. Senator Lankford did it. We could come together and solve this if we didn't let Donald Trump continue to make it an issue. And the consequences in Springfield were the governor had to send state law enforcement to escort kindergartners to school. I believe Senator Vance wants to solve this, but by standing with Donald Trump and not working together to find a solution, it becomes a talking point. And when it becomes a talking point like this, we dehumanize and villainize other human beings.
Tim,
Governor, your time is up. Senator, I'll give you 1 minute, but let me just ask you the question first.
Let him respond.
The governor has made the point, and I think as a sitting lawmaker, you know that Congress controls the purse strings and any funding.
So do you want to fact check what he said?
You have said repeatedly that Donald Trump would, through executive action, solve this. Do you disagree that Congress controls the purse strings and would need to support many of the changes that you would actually want to implement.
Immigration
You have 1 minute.
versus border
Margaret,
security.
first of all, the gross majority of what we need to do at the southern border is just empowering law enforcement to do their job. I've been to the southern border more than our borders are. Kamala Harris has been, and it's actually heartbreaking because the Border Patrol agents, they just want to be empowered to do their job. Of course, additional resources would help, but most of this is about the president and the vice president empowering our law enforcement to say, if you try to come across the border illegally, you've got to stay in Mexico, you've got to go back through proper channels. Now, Governor Walz brought up the community of Springfield, and he's very worried about the things that I've said in Springfield. Look, in Springfield, Ohio, and in communities all across this country, you've got schools that are overwhelmed, you've got hospitals that are overwhelmed, you've got housing that is totally unaffordable because we brought in millions of illegal immigrants to compete with Americans for scarce homes. The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim. And I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
Senator, your time is up.
Let's
Governor,
go.
you have 1 minute to respond.
Yeah, well, it is law enforcement that asked for the bill. They helped craft it. They're the ones that supported it. That's because they know we need to do this. Look, this issue of continuing to
Everybody
bring
get
this
on
up,
X,
of not
FAFO,
dealing
get
with
on
it,
X.
of blaming migrants for everything. On housing, we could talk a little bit about Wall Street speculators buying up housing and making them less affordable, but it becomes a blame. Look, this bill also gives the money necessary to adjudicate. I agree. It should not take 7 years for an asylum claim to be done. This bill gets it done in 90 days. Then you start to make a difference in this, and you start to adhere to what we know, American principles. Look, I don't talk about my faith a lot, but Matthew 25:40 talks about to the least amongst us you do unto me. I think that's true of most Americans. They simply want order to it. This bill does it. It's funded. It's supported by the people who do it, and it lets us keep our dignity about how we treat other people.
Thank you, Governor. And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status.
Why don't you fact check him on?
Well, Margaret,
On the kids.
We fact checked him here somewhere in the middle.
We're going to have the fact check.
Out of the economy,
Margaret, the rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check. And since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card, and waiting for 10 years.
Walz is so freaking hot.
Legal immigration, Margaret.
He is mad. He's like, I got to answer for this bitch.
We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The
we want to have.
app has not been on the books since 1990.
Yeah, that's right.
They turned the mic
That's right.
Yes, sir.
The audience can't hear you because your mic's so cut. We have so much we want to get to. Thank you for explaining the legal process.
Nora. Thank you, Margaret. The economy is a top concern for voters. Each of your campaigns has released an economic plan, so let's talk about the specifics. Governor Walz, Vice President Harris unveiled a plan that includes billions in tax credits for manufacturing, housing, and a renewed child tax credit. The Wharton School says your proposals will increase the nation's deficit by $1.2 trillion. How would you pay for that without ballooning the deficit? Governor, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. And Kamala Harris and I do believe in the middle class because that's where we come from. We both grew up in that. We understand. So those of you out there listening tonight, you're hearing a lot of stuff back and forth, and it's good. It's healthy. That's what this is supposed to happen. You should be listening. How's this going to impact me? The bold forward plan that Kamala Harris put out there is talking about this housing issue. The one thing is there's 3 million new houses proposed under this plan with down payment assistance on the front end to get you in a house. A house is much more than just an asset to be traded somewhere. It's foundational to where you're at. And then making sure that the things you buy every day, whether they be prescription drugs or other things, that there's fairness in that. Look, the $35 insulin is a good thing, but it costs $5 to make insulin. They were charging $800 before this law went into effect. As far as the housing goes, I've seen it in Minnesota. 12% more houses in Minneapolis, prices went down on rent 4%. It's working. And then making sure tax cuts go to the middle class. $6,000 child tax credit, we have one in Minnesota, reduces childhood poverty by a third. We save money in the long run, and we do the right thing for
Minnesota's
families.
going broke,
And then
brother.
getting businesses off the ground. The law as it stands right now is $5,000 tax credit for small business, increasing that to $50,000. Now, this is a philosophical difference between us. Donald Trump made a promise, and I'll give you this. He kept it. He took folks from Mar-a-Lago, said, you're rich as hell, I'm going to give you a tax cut. He gave the tax cuts that predominantly went to the top class. What happened there was an $8 trillion increase in the national debt, the largest ever. Now he's proposing a 20% consumption or sales tax on everything we bring in. Everyone agrees, including businesses, it would be destabilizing it, it would increase inflation and potentially lead to a recession. Look, this is simple for you. Where are we going? Kamala Harris has said to do the things she wants to do, we'll just ask the wealthiest to pay their fair share. When you do that,
What's the
our
number?
system works best, more people are participating in it, and folks have the things that they need.
Senator, I want to give you a moment to respond on that. But similarly, the Wharton School has done an analysis of the Trump plan and says it would increase the nation's deficit by $5.8 trillion. My
Man,
question is
please.
the same for you. How do you pay for all that
What the hell?
without
That don't
ballooning
make no
the
damn
deficit?
sense.
I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, you're going to hear a lot from Tim Walz this evening, and you just heard it in the answer, a lot of what Kamala Harris proposes to do. And some of it, I'll be honest with you, it even sounds pretty good. Here's what you won't hear, is that Kamala Harris has already done it. Because she's been the vice president for 3.5 years. She had the opportunity to enact all of these great policies. And what she's actually done instead is drive the cost of food higher by 25%, drive the cost of housing higher by about 60%. Open the American southern border and make middle-class life unaffordable for a large number of Americans. If Kamala Harris has such great plans for how to address middle-class problems, then she ought to do them now. Not when asking for a promotion, but in the job the American people gave her 3.5 years ago. And the fact that she isn't tells you a lot about how much you can trust her actual plans. Now, Donald Trump's economic plan is not just a plan, but it's also a record. A lot of those same economists attack Donald Trump's plans, and they have PhDs, but they don't have common sense and they don't have wisdom, because Donald Trump's economic policies delivered the highest take-home pay in a generation in this country, 1.5% inflation, and to boot, peace and security all over the world. So when people say that Donald Trump's economic plan doesn't make sense, I say look at the record. He delivered rising take-home pay for American workers. Admirably admits that they want to undo the Trump tax cuts. But if you look at what was so different about Donald Trump's tax cuts, even from previous Republican tax cut plans, is that a lot of those resources went to giving more take-home pay to middle-class and working-class Americans. It was passed in 2017, and you saw an American economic boom unlike we've seen in a generation in this country. That is a record that I'm proud to run on, and we're going to get back to that common sense wisdom so that you can afford to live the American dream again. I know a lot of you are struggling. I know a lot of you are worried about paying the bills. It's going to stop when Donald Trump brings back common sense to this country.
Governor, do you want to respond to that? What has Kamala Harris done for the middle class?
Yeah, well, Kamala Harris's day one was Donald Trump's failure on COVID that led to the collapse of our economy. We were already before COVID in a manufacturing recession.
now?
10 million people out of work, largest percentage since the Great Depression. 9 million jobs closed on that. That was day one. Whether it was the Infrastructure Act or other things we moved. Now, you made a question about experts, said this. I've made a note of this. Economists can't be trusted. Science can't be trusted. National security folks can't be trusted. Look, if you're going to be president, you don't have all the answers. Donald Trump believes he does. My pro tip of the day is this. If you need heart surgery, listen to the people at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, not Donald Trump. And the same thing goes with this. And I ask you out there, teachers, nurses, truck drivers, or whatever, how is it fair that you're paying your taxes every year and Donald Trump hasn't paid any federal tax in the last 15 years, and the last year as president? That's what's wrong with the system. There's a way around it, and he's bragged about that. We're just asking for fairness in it, and that's all you want.
Give a minute.
Governor, you say trust the experts. But those same experts for 40 years said that if we shipped our manufacturing base off to China, we'd get cheaper goods. They lied about that. They said if we shipped our industrial base off to other countries, to Mexico and elsewhere, it would make the middle class stronger. They were wrong about that. They were wrong about the idea that if we made America less self-reliant, less productive in our own nation, that it would somehow make us better off, and they were wrong about it. And for the first time in a generation, Donald Trump had the wisdom and the courage to say to that bipartisan consensus, we're not doing it anymore. We're bringing American manufacturing back. We're unleashing American energy. We're going to make more of our own stuff. And this isn't just an economic issue. I mean, I've got 3 beautiful little kids at home, 7, 4, and 2, and I love them very much, and I hope they're in bed right now. But look, so many of the drugs, the pharmaceuticals that we put in the bodies of our children are manufactured by nations that hate us. This has to stop, and we're not going to stop it by listening to experts. We're going to stop it by listening to common sense wisdom, which is what Donald Trump governed on.
Senator, your time is up. Governor Walz, can you address that? I mean, voters say they trust Donald Trump on the economy more. Why?
Well, if you're listening tonight and you want billionaires to get tax cuts, you heard what the numbers were. Look, I'm a union guy on this. I'm not a guy who wanted to ship things overseas, but I understand that, look, we produce soybeans and corn. We need to have fair trading partners. That's something that we believe in. I think the thing that most concerns me on this is Donald Trump was the guy who created the largest trade deficit in American history with China. So the rhetoric is good. Much of what the senator said right there, I'm in agreement with him on this. I watched it happen too. I watched it to my communities, and we talked about that. But we had people undercutting the right to collectively bargain. We had right to work states made it more difficult. We had companies that were willing to ship it over, and we saw people profit. Folks that are venture capital in some cases, putting money into companies that were overseas. We're in agreement that we bring those home. The issue is Donald Trump is talking about it. Kamala Harris has a record, 250,000 more manufacturing jobs just out of the IRA.
May I respond to that?
Yes.
So appreciate that. So if you notice, what Governor Walz just did is he said, first of all, Donald Trump has to listen to the experts. And then when he acknowledged that the experts screwed up, he said, well, Donald Trump didn't do nearly as good of a job as the statistics show that he did. So what Tim Walz is doing, and I honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here, because you've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did. And then you've simultaneously got to defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens. I was raised by a woman who would sometimes go into medical debt so that she could put food on the table in our household. I know what it's like to not be able to afford the things that you need to afford. We can do so much better. To all of you watching, we can get back to an America that's affordable again. We just got to get back to common sense economic principles.
I hope we have a conversation on healthcare then.
Senator, Governor.
Please.
Yeah, let's do that.
We have a lot to get to ahead, gentlemen, on many topics. But right now, I want to talk about personal qualifications. The vice president is often the last voice the president hears before making consequential decisions. We want to ask you about your leadership qualities. Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska.
Answer them questions.
400.
None of that.
You rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the National Guard at 17, worked on family farms, and then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher. My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of '89 to travel to China. 35 years ago, be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people there. We would take basketball teams, we would take baseball teams, we would take dancers, and we would go back and forth to China.
What's that to do?
The issue for that was to try and learn. Now, look, my community knows who I am. They saw where I was at.
Answer the damn question.
Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect. And I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's always been about that. Those same people elected me to Congress for 12 years. And in Congress, I was one of the most bipartisan people, working on things like farm bills that we got done, working on veterans benefits. And then the people of Minnesota were able to elect me to governor twice. So look, my commitment has been from the beginning to make sure that I'm there for the people, to make sure that I get this right. I will say more than anything, Many times I will talk a lot. I will get caught up in the rhetoric. But being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China. I hear the critiques of this. I would make the case that Donald Trump should have come on one of those trips with us. I guarantee you he wouldn't be praising Xi Jinping about COVID. And I guarantee you he wouldn't start a trade war that he ends up losing. So this is about trying to understand the world. It's about trying to do the best you can for your community. And then it's putting yourself out there and letting your folks understand what it is. My commitment, whether it was teaching, which I was good at, or whether it was being a good soldier, or it was being a good member of Congress, those are the things that I think are the values that people care about.
Just tell the truth.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just.
Why is it always a misspoke every time you get caught in a lie?
So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests, went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Thank you, Governor.
Wow.
Senator Vance, in 2016, you called your running mate, Donald Trump, unfit for the nation's highest office, and you said he could be America's Hitler. I know you've been asked many times, and you've said you regret those comments and explained you then voted for Donald Trump in 2020. But the Washington Post reported new messages last week in which you also disparaged Trump's economic record while he was president, writing to someone in 2020, quote, Trump thoroughly failed to deliver his economic populism. You're now his running mate, and you've shifted many of your policy stances to align with his. If you become vice president, why should Americans trust that you will give Donald Trump the advice he needs to hear and not just the advice he wants to hear? You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Margaret, because I've always been open. And sometimes, of course, I've disagreed with the president, but I've also been extremely open about the fact that I was wrong about Donald Trump. I was wrong, first of all, because I believed some of the media stories that turned out to be dishonest fabrications of his record. But most importantly, Donald Trump delivered for the American people. Rising wages, rising take-home pay, an economy that worked for normal Americans, a secure southern border, a lot of things, frankly, that I didn't think he'd be able to deliver on. And yeah, when you screw up, when you misspeak, when you get something wrong and you change your mind, you ought to be honest with the American people about it. It's one of the reasons, Margaret, why I've done so many interviews is because I think it's important to actually explain to the American people where I come down on the issues and what changed. Now, you pointed out to messages from 2020. Margaret, I've been extremely consistent that I think there were a lot of things that we could have done better in the Trump administration, the first round, if Congress was doing its job. I strongly believe, and I've been a United States Senator, that Congress is not just a high-class debating society. It's not just a forum for senators and congressmen to whine about problems. It's a forum to govern. So there were a lot of things on the border, on tariffs, for example, where I think we could have done so much more if the Republican Congress and the Democrats in Congress had been a little bit better about how they govern the country. They were so obsessed with impeaching Donald Trump, they couldn't actually govern. And I want to talk about this tariff issue in particular, Margaret, because Tim just accused this of being a national sales tax. Look, the one thing, and you're probably surprised to hear me praising Joe Biden, but the one thing that Joe Biden did is he continued some of the Trump tariffs that protected American manufacturing jobs. And it's the one issue, the most pro-worker part of the Biden administration, it's the one issue where Kamala Harris has run away from Joe Biden's record. Think about this. If you're trying to employ slave laborers in China at $3 a day, you're going to do that and undercut the wages of American workers unless our country stands up for itself and says you're not accessing our markets unless you're paying middle-class Americans a fair wage.
Senator, your time is up. Nora?
Thank you. Now to the issue of reproductive rights. Governor Walz, after Roe versus Wade was overturned, you signed a bill into law that made Minnesota one of the least restrictive states in the nation when it comes to abortion. Former President Trump said in the last debate that you believe abortion, quote, in the 9th month is absolutely fine. Yes or no? Is that what you support? I'll give you 2 minutes.
That's not what the bill says, but look.
Is that what you support?
Is what's on everyone's mind. Donald Trump put this all into motion. Brags about how great it was that he put the judges in and overturned Roe versus Wade. 52 years of personal autonomy.
Answer the question.
And then he tells us, oh, we send it to the states. It's a beautiful thing. Amanda Zaworski would disagree with you on it's a beautiful thing. A young bride in Texas waiting for their child at 18 weeks She has a complication, a tear in the membrane. She needs to go in. The medical care at that point needs to be decided by the doctor. And that would have been an abortion. But in Texas, that would have put them in legal jeopardy. She went home, got sepsis, nearly dies, and now she may have difficulty having children. Or in Kentucky, Hadley Duvall, a 12-year-old child.
Do you support
raped and
late-term
impregnated by her
abortions?
stepfather. Those are horrific. Now, when God asked about that, Senator Vance said, 2 wrongs don't make a right. There is no right in this. So in Minnesota, what we did was restore Roe versus Wade. We made sure that we put women in charge of their health care. But look, this is not where, if you don't know Amanda or a Hadley, you soon will. Their Project 2025 is going to have a registry of pregnancies. It's going to make it more difficult, if not impossible, to get contraception and limit access, if not eliminate access to infertility treatments. For so many of you out there listening, me included, infertility treatments are why I have a child. That's nobody else's business.
What is he talking
But those things are
about?
being proposed.
That has nothing to do with the question.
On this is well, the states will decide what's right for Texas might not be right for Washington. That's not how this works. This is basic human right. We have seen maternal mortality skyrocket in Texas, outpacing many other countries in the world. This is about healthcare. In Minnesota, we are ranked first in healthcare for a reason. We trust women, we trust doctors.
Wow.
Senator, do you want to respond to the governor's claim? Will you create a federal pregnancy monitoring agency?
No, Nora, certainly we won't. And I want to talk about this issue because I know a lot of Americans care about it, and I know a lot of Americans don't agree with everything that I've ever said on this topic. And, you know, I grew up in a working class family in a neighborhood where I knew a lot of young women who had unplanned pregnancies and decided to terminate those pregnancies because they feel like they didn't have any other options. And, you know, one of them is actually very dear to me. And I know she's watching tonight, and I love you. And she told me something a couple years ago that she felt like if she hadn't had that abortion, that it would have destroyed her life because she was in an abusive relationship. And I think that what I take from that as a Republican who proudly wants to protect innocent life in this country, who proudly wants to protect the vulnerable, is that my party, we've got to do so much better of a job at earning the American people's trust back on this issue where they frankly just don't trust us. And I think that's one of the things that Donald Trump and I are endeavoring to do. I want us as a Republican Party to be pro-family in the fullest sense of the word. I want us to support fertility treatments. I want us to make it easier for moms to afford to have babies. I want it to make it easier for young families to afford a home so they can afford a place to raise that family. And I think there's so much that we can do on the public policy front just to give women more options. Now, of course, Donald Trump has been very clear that on the abortion policy specifically, that we have a big country and it's diverse. And California has a different viewpoint on this than Georgia. Georgia has a different viewpoint from Arizona. And the proper way to handle this, as messy as democracy sometimes is to let voters make these decisions, let the individual states make their abortion policy. And I think that's what makes the most sense in a very big, a very diverse, and let's be honest, sometimes a very, very messy and divided country.
Governor, would you like to respond and also answer the question about restrictions?
Yeah, well,
answer it.
The question got asked, and Donald Trump made the accusation that wasn't true about Minnesota. Well, let me tell you about this idea that there's diverse states. There's a young woman named Amber Thurman.
Answer that question.
In Georgia, a restrictive state. Because of that, she had to travel a long distance to North Carolina to try and get her care.
She shouldn't have gotten the
Amber
abortion.
Thurman died
She had twins.
in that journey back and forth. The fact of the matter is, how can we as a nation say that your life and your rights, as basic as the right to control your own body, is determined on geography? There's a very real chance, had Amber Thurman lived in Minnesota, she would be alive today. That's why the restoration of Roe versus
She wasn't
Wade.
raped.
When you
She
listen
chose
Vice
to get
President Harris
pregnant.
talk about this subject, and you hear me talk about it, you hear us talking exactly the same.
Can he
Donald
answer the
Trump
question?
is trying to figure out how to get the political right of this.
Answer
I agree
the
with a lot
damn
of what
question.
Senator Vance said about what's happening. His running mate, though, does not, and that's the problem.
Governor, your time is
answer
up.
the
Senator,
question.
let me ask you about that. He mentioned, it was, I think, referring to a national ban. In the past, you have supported a federal ban on abortion after 15 weeks. In fact, you said if someone can't support legislation like that, quote, you are making the United States the most barbaric pro-abortion regime anywhere in the entire world. My question is, Why have you changed your position?
Well, Nora, first of all, I never supported a national ban. I did when I was running for Senate in 2022 talk about setting some minimum national standard. For example, we have a partial birth abortion ban in place in this country at the federal level. I don't think anybody's trying to get rid of that, or at least I hope not, though I know that Democrats have taken a very radical pro-abortion stance. But Nora, one of the things that changed is in the state of Ohio, we had a referendum in 2023, and the people of Ohio voted overwhelmingly, by the way, against my position. And I think that what I learned from that, Nora, is that we've got to do a better job at winning back people's trust. So many young women would love to have families. So many young women also see an unplanned pregnancy as something that's going to destroy their livelihood, destroy their education, destroy their relationships. And we have got to earn people's trust back. And that's why Donald Trump and I are committed to pursuing pro-family policies, making childcare more accessible, making fertility treatments more accessible, because we've got to do a better job at that. And that's what real leadership is.
Governor, your response.
I'm going to respond on the pro-abortion piece of that. No, we're
Can
not.
you actually answer the
We're
question?
pro-women. We're pro-freedom to make your own choice. We know what the implications are to not be that. Women having miscarriages, women not getting the care, physicians feeling like they may be prosecuted for providing that care.
Fair.
And as far as making sure that we're educating our children and giving them options, Minnesota's a state with one of the lowest teen pregnancy rates. We understand that too. We know that the options need to be available, and we make that true. We also make it, we're a top 3 state for the best place to raise children. But these two things to try and say that we're pro-children, but we don't like this, or you guys are pro-abortion, that's not the case at all. We are pro-freedoms for women to make their choices, and we're going, and Kamala Harris is making the case, to make options for children more affordable, a $6,000 child tax credit, but we're not going to base that on the backs of making someone like Amber Thurman drive 600 miles to try and get health care.
Senator.
Massachusetts, North Dakota, and Vermont are the top 3.
Still be alive, and there are a lot of people who should still be alive.
Minnesota is not even ranked.
That she was, and maybe you're free to disagree with me on this and explain this to me. But as I read the Minnesota law that you signed into law, the statute that you signed into law, it says that a doctor who presides over an abortion where the baby survives, the doctor is under no obligation to provide life-saving care to a baby who survives a botched late-term abortion. That is, I think, whether you're pro-choice or pro-abortion, that is fundamentally barbaric. And that's why I use that word, Nora, is because some of what we've seen, do you want to force Catholic hospitals to perform abortions against their will? Because Kamala Harris has supported suing Catholic nuns to violate their freedom of conscience. We can be a big and diverse country where we respect people's freedom of conscience and make the country more pro-baby and pro-family. But please.
Yes, Governor, please respond.
Look, this is one where there's always something there. This is a very simple proposition. These are women's decisions to make about their healthcare decisions, and the physicians who know best when they need to do this. Trying to distort the way a law is written to try and make a point, that's not it at all.
What was I wrong about, Governor? Please tell me, what was I wrong about?
That is not the way the law is written. Look, I've given I've given this advice on a lot of things, that getting involved, that's been misread, and it was fact-checked at the last debate. But the point on this is there's a continuation of these guys to try and tell women or to get involved. I use this line on this, just mind your own business. On this, things worked best when Roe versus Wade was in place. When we do a restoration of Roe, that works best. That doesn't preclude us from increasing funding for children. It doesn't increase us from making sure that once that child's born, like in Minnesota, they get meals, they get early childhood education, they get health care. So the hiding behind we're going to do all these other things when you're not proposing them in your budget. Kamala Harris is proposing them. She's proposing all those things to make life easier for families.
I asked a specific question, Governor. You gave me a slogan as a response.
It's not the case. It's not true. That's not what the law says. So they fact-checked it with President Trump.
Gentlemen, there's a lot to discuss. We have to move on, and we're going to be right back with much more of the CBS News vice presidential debate in just a moment.
Well, all right,
Excellent.
Before we get into our commentary, let's go ahead and swap the feed so that we can have a conversation, have that going on in the background, and let this flow
I think we should quickly,
as smoothly as possible.
We should quickly go through and fact check with some of the stuff that was sent to
We
our.
can quickly go through and fact check.
Yeah.
Do you have the feed up, Liddell? It might work better if you stream it since your feed is clear.
1 second. Let me go and copy it. Let me go open it up here. Boom.
So I have a few fact checks. When He was asked about going to China. He did not go during that event in China that he said he went to. He was supposed to go the following year. He lied. And during the questioning of, okay, can you clear this up? The only thing that the American people got from him is that, oh, I misspoke. Kind of like when he misspoke and he openly said he carried weapons of war when he was deployed. And I can't wait till they get to that portion of the debate because you're just straight lying. They accuse Donald Trump of lying so much, but he lies.
Yes.
He talked about being pro-choice, but you literally sick the National Guard onto your people to issue a stay-at-home order. You didn't respect their choice to freely move around and not be afraid of COVID. You forced them to stay indoors, and you decided to use the military against them to issue those stay-at-home orders. Another fact check. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. The Tiananmen Square protest wasn't even there. Didn't even happen. Another fact check was him saying that this mule narrative is a lie.
They're not using children as mules.
They're not using children as mules, but according to Luis Alberto, he's just one of the increasing numbers of young people being used as a mule to ferry drugs across the border into the U.S. or sell them in nearby Mexican towns, said Victor Clark, an anthropologist who studies drug trafficking. So here's a kid right here who's got the experience of being trafficked by the cartels at the border, and he openly says they're bringing them into the U.S.
Yeah, like go back to that real quick. So if you read above that, it says in there, he goes on to say before he read that, Soonie just read that statement, it says, they brought me here because I was using and selling Kriloco, Luis Alberto said, referring to methamphetamine, the drug of choice. Minors are cheap labor and expendable for organized crime in the area where there are few job opportunities or places for recreation and where the distribution and consumption of drugs have grown fast. There you go. From the actual drug mule.
Fact check in real time. And Kamala Harris, he quoted Kamala Harris in the whole lie that she spun about Donald Trump losing over 200,000 manufacturing jobs before the pandemic. It's not true. When your own sources, not even your own sources, when your own sources are fact checking you, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. He's lied nonstop in this debate. He's lied and evaded questions. Now, I've talked a lot. I want to hear from y'all. I think it's coming back on. I don't know what's going on, but he just lied. We fact checked him in real time. We can't hear it.
You can?
Yeah, we can hear it.
It sounds kind of low.
Welcome back to the CBS News vice presidential debate. We want to turn now to America's gun violence epidemic. The leading cause of death for children and teens in America is by firearms. Senator Vance, you oppose most gun legislation that Democrats claim would curb gun violence. You oppose red flag gun laws and legislation to ban certain semi-automatic rifles, including AR-15s. So let me ask you, earlier this year, for the first time, the parents of a school shooter were convicted of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Do you think holding parents responsible could curb mass shootings? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, Nora, on that particular case, I don't know the full details, but I certainly trust local law enforcement and local authorities to make those decisions. I think in some cases the answer is going to be yes, and in some cases the answer is going to be no. And the details really matter here, of course. For example, if a kid steals a gun, that's going to be different than if a parent hands over a gun knowing that their kid is potentially dangerous. But look, I want to just sort of speak as a father of 3 beautiful little kids, and our oldest is now in 2nd grade. And like a lot of parents, we send our kids to school with such hope and such joy and such pride at their little faces on the first day of school. And we know, unfortunately, that a lot of kids are going to experience this terrible epidemic of gun violence. And of course, our hearts go out to the families that are affected by this terrible stuff. And we do have to do better. And I think that Governor Walz and I actually probably agree that we need to do better on this. The question is just, how do we actually do it? Now, here's something that really bothers me and worries me about this epidemic of violence. The gross majority, close to 90%, and some of the statistics I've seen, of the gun violence in this country is committed with illegally obtained firearms. And while we're on that topic, we know that thanks to Kamala Harris's open border, we've seen a massive influx in the number of illegal guns run by the Mexican drug cartels. So that number, the amount of illegal guns in our country is higher today than it was 3.5 years ago. But what do we do about the schools? What do we do to protect our kids? And I think the answer is, and I say this not loving the answer, because I don't want my kids to go to school in a school that feels unsafe or where there are visible signs of security. But I unfortunately think that we have to increase security in our schools. We have to make the doors lock better. We have to make the doors stronger. We've got to make the windows stronger. And of course, we've got to increase school resource officers, because the idea that we can magically wave a wand and take guns out of the hands of bad guys, it just doesn't fit with recent experience. So we've got to make our schools safer. And I think we've got to have some common sense bipartisan solutions for how to do that.
Governor, you have 2 minutes.
Well, I think all the parents watching tonight, this is just your biggest nightmare. Look, I got a 17-year-old, and he witnessed a shooting at a community center playing volleyball. Those things don't leave you. As a member of Congress, I sat in my office surrounded by dozens of the Sandy Hook parents, and they were looking at my 7-year-old picture on the wall. Their 7-year-old were dead, and they were asking us to do something. And look, I'm a hunter. I own firearms. The vice president is. We understand that the Second Amendment is there, but our first responsibility is to our kids to figure this out. In Minnesota, we've enacted enhanced red flag laws, enhanced background checks, and we can start to get data. But here's the problem. If we really want to solve this, we've got folks that won't allow research to be even done on gun violence. And this idea that we should just live with it, here's what I do think, that this is a good start to the conversation. I 100% believe that Senator Vance hates it when these kids, it's abhorrent and it breaks your heart. I agree with that. But that's not far enough when we know there are things that work. I've spent time in Finland and seen some Finnish schools. They don't have this happen, even though they have a high gun ownership rate in the country. There are reasonable things that we can do to make a difference. It's not infringing on your Second Amendment. And the idea to have some of these weapons out there, it just doesn't make any sense. Kamala Harris, as an attorney general, worked on this issue. She knows that it's there. No one's trying to scaremonger and say we're taking your guns, but I ask all of you out there, do you want your schools hardened to look like a fort? Is that what we have to go? When we know there's countries around the world that their children aren't practicing these types of drills. They're being kids. We owe it to them to get a fix. These are things that shouldn't be that difficult. You can still keep your firearms, and we can make a difference. We have to. If you're listening tonight, this breaks your heart.
JD Vance's
Tim,
face.
first of all, I didn't know that your 17-year-old witnessed a shooting. I'm sorry about that, and I hope that he's doing okay. Christ have mercy. It is awful, and I appreciate what
JD
Tim said
Vance.
about
Yo, I am a
because I do think it illustrates
fan,
some of the
He's a professional
weird
mind
differences
fucker.
between our own country's gun violence problem and Finland. Is okay. First of all, we have way higher rates of mental health abuse or mental health substance abuse. We have way higher rates of depression, way higher rates of anxiety. We unfortunately have a mental health crisis in this country that I really do think that we need to get to the root causes of, because I don't think it's the whole reason why we have such a bad gun violence problem, but I do think it's a big piece of it. Another driver of the gun violence epidemic, especially that affecting our kids, it doesn't earn as many headlines, but is the terrible gun violence problem in a lot of our big cities. And this is why we have to empower law enforcement to arrest the bad guys, put them away, and take gun offenders off the streets. I think there's a whole host of things that we can do here, but I do think at our schools, we've got to talk about more security.
Senator, thank you. Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was NRA
He's
guy
friends
for a
with
long time.
school
They used to
shooters?
teach gun
He's
safety.
friends with school
I'm
shooters?
of an age where my shotgun was in my car so I could pheasant hunt after football practice. That's not where we live today. And several things I want to mention on this is talking about cities and where it's at. The number one where the most firearm deaths happen in Minnesota are rural suicides. And we have an epidemic of children getting guns and shooting themselves. And so we have, and we should look at all of the issues. making sure folks have health care and all that, but I want to be very careful. This idea of stigmatizing mental health, just because you have a mental health issue doesn't mean you're violent. And I think what we end up doing is we start looking for a scapegoat. Sometimes it just is the guns. It's just the guns. And there are things that you can do about it.
How can it ever be just the gun?
And I think this is a healthy conversation. I think there's a capacity to find solutions on this that work, protect Second Amendment, protect our children. That's our priority.
Gentlemen, thank you. Margaret?
Thank you, Nora. Let's turn now to the top contributor to inflation, the high cost of housing and rent. There's a shortage of more than 4 million homes in the United States, and that contributes to the high housing prices. Governor Walz, the Harris campaign promises a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and a $10,000 tax credit. They also promise to build 3 million new homes. Where are you building these homes, and won't handing out that kind of money just drive up prices higher?
No, it's not handing out. We have, first, let me say this issue of housing, and I think those of you listening on this, the problem we've had is that we've got a lot of folks that see housing as another commodity. It can be bought up, it can be shifted, it can be moved around. Those are not folks living in those houses. Those of you listening tonight, that house is a big deal. I bought and owned one house in my life. My mom still lives in the house where I was. And when I think of a house, I'm thinking of Christmas services after midnight mass where you go with your family. We need to make it more affordable. And one of the things, as I said, this program that the vice president is pushing forward and bringing a new way of approaching this is something we're doing in Minnesota from that lead. We in the state invested in making sure our housing was the biggest investment that we'd ever made in housing. It starts to make it easier. We cut some of the red tape. Local folks, look, we can't do it at the federal level, but local folks make it easier to build those homes. And then that down payment assistance. I can tell all of you out there, certainly for me, using the GI Bill was one thing, but a veteran's home loan, the big thing about a veteran's home loan is you don't have to pay the down payment. Those are things that make it there. Now, look, you're going to pay it back,
It's a tax
and you're going to pay
credit.
your
It's
mortgage.
not a-
Those are things that we know in the long run, the appreciated value, the
selling
generational
snake
wealth that's
oil.
created from it. And I will give Minneapolis an example. Minneapolis is the one city where we've seen the lowest inflation rates. We've seen a 12% increase in stock because we put some of these things in, and we're implementing a state program to make sure we give some of that down payment assistance. We get it back from people because here's what we know. People with stable housing end up with stable jobs. People with stable housing have their kids able to get to school. All of those things in the long run end up saving our money. And that's the thing that I think we should be able to find some common ground in, but we can't blame immigrants for the only reason. That's not the case that's happening in many cities. The fact of the matter is that we don't have enough naturally affordable housing, but we can make sure that the government's there to help kickstart it, create that base.
Governor, your time is up. Senator Vance, as far as your campaign's position, the promise is to seize federal lands to build homes, remove regulation, provide tax breaks, and cut back on immigration, which you say pushes up prices. Where are you going to build all the new homes you're promising? And what part of any of this plan will provide immediate relief? You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Tim just said something that I agree with. We don't want to blame immigrants for higher housing prices, but we do want to blame Kamala Harris for letting in millions of illegal aliens into this country, which does drive up costs, Tim. 25 million illegal aliens competing with Americans for scarce homes is one of the most significant drivers of home prices in the country. It's why we have massive increases in home prices that have happened right alongside massive increases in illegal alien populations under Kamala Harris's leadership. Now, Tim just mentioned a bunch of ideas. Now, some of those ideas I actually think are halfway decent, and some of them I disagree with. But the most important thing here is Kamala Harris is not running as a newcomer to politics. She is the sitting vice president. If she wants to enact all of these policies to make housing more affordable, I invite her to use the office that the American people already gave her, not sit around and campaign and do nothing while Americans find the American dream of homeownership completely unaffordable. Now, you asked, Margaret, what would immediately change the equation for American citizens if you lower energy prices? As Donald Trump says, drill, baby, drill. One of the biggest drivers of housing costs, aside from illegal immigration, is, think about it. If a truck driver is paying 40% more for diesel, then the lumber he's delivering to the job site to build the house is also going to become a lot more expensive. If we open up American energy, you will get immediate pricing relief for American citizens, not, by the way, just in housing, but in a whole host of other economic goods too.
Senator Vance, you still have 23 seconds there. Do you want to answer?
Can I have it?
Where, yeah. Governor, we will get to you in a moment, but Senator, where are you going to seize the federal lands? Can you clarify?
Well, what Donald Trump has said is we have a lot of federal lands that aren't being used for anything. They're not being used for national park. They're not being used, and they could be places where we build a lot of housing. And I do think that we should be opening up building in this country. We have a lot of land that could be used. We have a lot of Americans that need homes. We should be kicking out illegal immigrants who are competing for those homes, and we should be building more homes for the American citizens who deserve to be here.
Senator, your time is up. Governor, I do want to let you respond to the allegation that the vice president is letting in
Well, of course, that's not true. And again, you have the facts. I guess we agreed not to fact check. I'll check it. That, look, crossings are down compared to when Donald Trump left office. But it's, again, blaming and not trying to find the solution. I was going to ask, though, on this question, are we going to drill and build houses in the same federal land? And I think when people hear federal lands, these are really important pieces of land. Now, Minnesota doesn't have a lot of federal lands. I know in the western part of the countries we do. There's not a lot of federal lands in and around Minneapolis, for example. So the issue is I don't understand the federal lands issue unless we see this, and I worry about this as someone who cares deeply about our national parks and our federal lands. Look, Minnesota, we protect these things. We've got about 20% of the world's fresh water. These lands protect. They're there for a reason. They belong to all of us. But again, this is when you view housing and you view these things as commodities. Like, there's a chance to make money here. Let's take this federal land and let's sell it to people for that. I think there's better ways to do this. We've seen it in Minnesota. We're able to refurbish some of these houses. We're able to make some investments. That gets people in. And I'm still on the fact on this. Economists, Senator Vance, you said you don't like the economists. Which economists are saying that it is immigrants that's adding to the cost?
Governor, your time is up. But Senator, on that point, I'd like for you to clarify. There are many contributing factors to high housing costs. What evidence do you have that migrants are part of this problem?
Well, there's a Federal Reserve study that we're happy to share after the debate. We'll put it up on social media, actually, that really drills down on the connection between increased levels of migration, especially illegal immigration, and higher housing prices. Now, of course, Margaret, that's not the entire driver of higher housing prices. It's also the regulatory regime of Kamala Harris. Look, we are a country of builders. We're a country of doers. We're a country of explorers. But we increasingly have a federal administration that makes it harder to develop our resources, makes it harder to build things, and wants to throw people in jail for not doing everything exactly as Kamala Harris says they have to do. And what that means is that you have a lot of people who would love to build homes who aren't able to build homes. I actually agree with Tim Walz. We should get out of this idea of housing as a commodity. But the thing that has most turned housing into a commodity is giving it away to millions upon millions of people who have no legal right to be here.
What are the federal regulations? I deal with this as a governor.
You can very quickly reply.
I'm sorry. I get this as a governor, and I don't necessarily disagree with that in some cases, many of those are local, many of them are state. I don't know which ones are federal, but I think whenever we talk regulations, people think they can get rid of them. I think you want to be able to get out of your house in a fire. I think you want to make sure that it's fireproof and those types of things. So which are the regulations? Because the vice president's not responsible for those. Congress writes those.
Governor, thank you. Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to. You're passionate about the housing crisis, I can tell. But Nora?
Thank you. One of the top problems facing Americans is the high cost of health care. Senator Vance, at the last presidential debate, former President Trump was asked about replacing the Affordable Care Act. In response, he said, "I have concepts of a plan." Since then, Senator, you've talked about changing how chronically ill Americans get health insurance. Can you explain how that would work? And can you guarantee that Americans with pre-existing conditions won't pay more? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, of course, we're going to cover Americans with pre-existing conditions. In fact, a lot of my family members have gotten health care I believe, members of my family actually got private health insurance, at least for the first time, switched off of Medicaid onto private insurance for the first time under Donald Trump's leadership. And I think that, a lot of people have criticized this concepts of a plan remark. It's very simple common sense. I think as Tim Walz knows from 12 years in Congress, you're not going to propose a 900-page bill standing on a debate stage. It would bore everybody to tears, and it wouldn't actually mean anything because part of this is the give and take of bipartisan negotiation. Now, when Donald Trump was actually president, and again, he has a record to be proud of, prescription drugs fell in 2018 for the first time in a very long time. Under Kamala Harris's leadership, prescription drugs are up about 7%. Under Donald Trump's entire 4 years, they were up about 1.5%. He introduced pricing transparency. Think about healthcare. You go into a hospital, you try to buy something, and nobody knows what it actually costs. That price transparency will actually give American consumers a little bit more choice and will also drive down costs. And we talked about, the reinsurance regulations is what I was talking about. Look, Donald Trump has said that if we allow states to experiment a little bit on how to cover both the chronically ill, but the non-chronically ill, it's not just a plan. He actually implemented some of these regulations when he was president of the United States. And I think you can make a really good argument that it salvaged Obamacare, which was doing disastrously until Donald Trump came along. And I think this is an important point about President Trump. Of course, you don't have to agree with everything that President Trump has ever said or ever done. But when Obamacare was crushing under the weight of its own regulatory burden and healthcare costs, Donald Trump could have destroyed the program. Instead, he worked in a bipartisan way to ensure that Americans had access to affordable care. It's not perfect, of course, and there's so much more that we can do, but I think that Donald Trump has earned the right to put in place some better healthcare policies. He's earned it because he did it successfully the first time.
Governor?
All right, here's where being an old guy gives you some history. I was there at the creation of the ACA. And the reason it was so important is I come from a major healthcare state, home of the Mayo Clinic, home to Medical Alley. 3M, Medtronic, all of those. We understand healthcare. It's why we're ranked first on affordability and accessibility and quality of healthcare. And so what I know is under Kamala Harris, more people are covered than they have before. And those of you listening, this is critical to you. Now, Donald Trump all of a sudden wants to go back and remember this. He ran on the first thing he was going to do on day one was to repeal Obamacare. On day one, he tried to sign an executive order to repeal the ACA. He signed on to a lawsuit to repeal the ACA, but lost at the Supreme Court. And he would have repealed the ACA had it not been for the courage of John McCain to save that bill. Now, fast forward, what that means to you is you lose your pre-existing conditions. If you're sitting at home and you got asthma, too bad. If you're a woman, probably not. Broke your foot during football, might kick you out. Your kids get kicked out when they're 26. Kamala Harris negotiated drug prices for the first time with Medicare. We have 10 drugs that will come online, the most common ones that'll be there. But look, this issue, and when Donald Trump said, I've got a concept of a plan, it cracked me up as a fourth grade teacher because my kids would have never given me that. But what Senator Vance just explained might be worse than a concept, because what he explained is pre-Obamacare. And I'll make this as simple as possible because I have done this for a long time. What they're saying is, if you're healthy, why should you be paying more? So what they're going to do is let insurance companies pick who they insure, because guess what happens? You pay your premium, it's not much. They figure they're not going to have to pay out to you. But those of you a little older, gray, got cancer, you're going to get kicked out of it. That's why the system didn't work. Kamala Harris will protect and enhance the ACA.
Governor, thank you. Senator, you have not yet explained how you would protect people with pre-existing conditions or laid out that plan.
Well, look, we currently have laws and regulations in place right now that protect people with pre-existing conditions. We want to keep those regulations in place, but we also want to make the health insurance marketplace function a little bit better. Now, what Governor Walz just said is actually not true. A lot of what happened, and the reason that Obamacare was crushing under its own weight, is that a lot of young and healthy people were leaving the exchanges. Donald Trump actually helped address that problem, and he did so in a way that preserved people's access to coverage who had pre-existing conditions. But again, something that these guys do is they make a lot of claims about if Donald Trump becomes president, all of these terrible consequences are going to ensue. But in reality, Donald Trump was president. Inflation was low. Take-home pay was higher, and he saved the very program from a Democratic administration that was collapsing and would have collapsed absent his leadership. He did his job, which is govern in a bipartisan way and get results, not just complain about problems, but actually solve them.
Governor, did enrollment under the Affordable Care Act go up under the Trump administration?
Oh, it's higher now that we've seen it go up. Look, people are using it. The system
Under the Trump
works.
administration,
And
that's
the question about this of young people or whatever, that's the individual mandate piece of this. And Republicans fought tooth and nail saying, well, Americans should be free to do this. Well, then
So
what
you
happens
think the
is
individual mandate's a good idea?
you shrink. I think the idea of making sure the risk pool is broad enough to cover everyone, that's the only way insurance works. When it doesn't, it collapses. You are asking pre-ACA where we get people out. Look, people know that they need to be on health care. People expect it to be there. And when we are able to make it, and we are making it this way, when we incentivize people to be in the market, when we help people who might not be able to afford it get there, and we make sure then when you get sick and old, it's there for you. Because I heard people say, well, I don't want to buy into Medicare or whatever. Good luck buying health care once you get past 70. So look, the ACA works. We can continue to do better. Kamala Harris did that. The way she made everything better was negotiating those 10 drugs on Medicare for the first time in American history.
Thank you. Margaret.
Can I address that?
I apologize. We're out of time. We have a number of subjects to discuss. Margaret.
Let's talk about families in America.
They didn't let
There
him
is a
talk about it?
childcare crisis
Sure.
in this country,
That's doing a
and the
pretty
United
job.
States
I
is
gotta
one
give
of the
them.
very few developed countries in the world without a national paid leave program for new parents. Governor Walz, you've said that if Democrats win both the White House and Congress, this is a day one priority for you. How long should employers be required to pay workers while they are home taking care of their newborns? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's negotiable, and that's what Congress worked. But here's what the deal is. Americans sitting out there right now, you may work for a big company. Look, we're home in Minnesota to some of the largest Fortune 500 companies. Kamala Harris knows that in California. Those companies provide paid family and medical leave. One is, I think they're moral and they think it's a good thing, but it also keeps their employees healthy. We in Minnesota passed a paid family and medical leave. You have a child, and I had to go back to work 5 days after my kids were born. This allows you to stay home a certain amount of time. What we know is that gets the child off to a better start. The family works better. They stay in their employers. We get more consistency in that. So Kamala Harris has made it a priority. We implemented it in Minnesota and we see growth. That's how you become a pro-business state. But the negotiations on it, and here's the issue. Those big companies are able to offer it. Those of you out there who don't have it, just imagine what happens if you get cancer or your child gets sick. We know what happens. You end up staying home. In some cases, that means no paycheck because you've got no protection on that. This is the case of an economy that Donald Trump has set for the wealthiest amongst us. He's willing to give those tax breaks to the wealthiest. He's willing to say, bust those unions up, do whatever. What we're saying is the economy works best when it works for all of us. And so a paid family medical leave program, and I will tell you, go to the families or go to the businesses and ask them. As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. You can't expect the most important people in our lives to take either our children or our parents to get paid the least amount of money. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business and then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that.
Get
We were
government
able
out
to
of the
do
way.
it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this. We were listed as the best state. We're still in crisis on this. A federal program of paid family and medical leave and help with this will enhance our workforce, enhance our families, and make it easier to have the children that you want.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, do you support a national paid leave program? And if so, for how long should employers be mandated to pay their employees while they are home taking care of their newborn? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, first of all, Margaret, a number of my Republican colleagues and some Democrats, too, have worked on this issue. And I think there is a bipartisan solution here because a lot of us care about this issue. I mean, look, I speak from this very personally because I'm married to a beautiful woman who is an incredible mother to our 3 beautiful kids, but is also a very, very brilliant corporate litigator. And I'm so proud of her. but being a working mom, even for somebody with all of the advantages of my wife, is extraordinarily difficult. And it's not just difficult from a policy perspective. She actually had access to paid family leave because she worked for a bigger company, but the cultural pressure on young families and especially young women, I think makes it really hard for people to choose the family model they want. A lot of young women would like to go back to work immediately. Some would like to spend a little time home with the kids. Some would like to spend longer at home with the kids. We should have a family care model that makes choice possible. And I think this is a very important substantive difference between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris's approach. I mean, look, if you look at the federal programs that we have that support paid family leave right now, the Community Development Block Grant, and there's another block grant program that spends a lot of money from the federal government. These programs only go to one kind of childcare model. Let's say you'd like your church maybe to help you out with childcare. Maybe you live in a rural area or an urban area and you'd like to get together with families in your neighborhood to provide childcare in the way that makes the most sense. You don't get access to any of these federal monies. We want to promote choice in how we deliver family care and how we promote childcare, because look, it is unacceptable. And, you know, of course, Tim and I have been on the campaign trail a lot the past 7 or 8 weeks. And one of the biggest complaints I hear from young families is people who feel like they don't have options, like they're choosing between going to work or taking care for their kids. That is an incredible burden to put on American families. We're the only country that does it. I think we could do a heck of a lot better.
Senator, thank you. You have also said, Senator Vance, many things about the American family. The Federal Reserve says parents will spend nearly as much on childcare as they do on housing each month. So I want to get your thoughts on this. President Trump recently said, as much as childcare is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kinds of numbers we'll be taking in. Is President Trump committed to the $5,000 per child tax credit that you have described? You have 1 minute.
Well, what President Trump said, Margaret, I just want to defend my running mate here a little bit, is that we're going to be taking in a lot of money by penalizing companies for shipping jobs overseas and penalizing countries who employ slave laborers and then ship their products back into our country and undercut the wages of American workers. It's the heart of the Donald Trump economic plan. Cut taxes for American workers and American families, cut taxes for businesses that are hiring and building companies in the United States of America, but penalize companies and countries that are shipping jobs overseas. That's the heart of the economic proposal. And I think what President Trump is saying is that when we bring in this additional revenue with higher economic growth, we're going to be able to provide paid family leave, childcare options that are viable and workable for a lot of American families.
Can you clarify how that will solve the childcare shortage?
Well, because as Tim said, a lot of the child care shortage is we just don't have enough resources going into the multiple people who could be providing family care options. And we're going to have to, unfortunately, look, we're going to have to spend more money. We're going to have to induce more people to want to provide child care options for American families, because the reason it's so expensive right now is because you've got way too few people providing this very essential service.
Thank you, Senator. Governor Walz, your ticket also has some child care tax credit proposals. Do you think Congress will agree to the $6,000 credit for newborns and $3,000 credit for children over the age of 6, as your campaign has promised? Is that realistic?
Well, if these members of Congress are listening to anybody, I can tell you, and this is the biggest issue. Everybody listening tonight knows. I mean, I'm sure they were shocked to hear it's not that expensive. And let's be clear, whether it's $5,000 or $6,000, that pays you about 3 or 4 months. Let's be clear of where we're at on this. It's because we got out of an imbalance on this. We thought we were going to get by not paying people. I don't think Senator Vance and I are that far apart. I'm not opposed to what he's talking about on options. We've done scholarships types of things. I think we need to be open to making the case. But the issue here is, the question you asked is, you're not going to pay for it with these tariffs. That's just adding another $4,000 on the family and taking less. So not only do they not get the money to pay for that, they're $4,000 in the hole. That's Wharton School. That's his alma mater.
No,
and so I think the issue here is, those members of Congress, I can't believe they're not. When I go to businesses, sure, they'll talk about taxes sometime, but they will lead with childcare and they will lead with housing, because we know the problem is, especially in a state like Minnesota, we need more workers because our economy is growing, but we need the workforce.
Governor, thank you. We need to move on. Nora?
Let's talk about the state of democracy, the top issue for Americans after the economy and inflation. After the 2020 election, President Trump's campaign and others filed 62 lawsuits contesting the results. Judges, including those appointed by President Trump and other Republican presidents, looked at the evidence and said there was no widespread fraud. The governors of every state in the nation, Republicans and Democrats, certified the 2020 election results and sent a legal slate of electors to Congress for January 6th. Senator Vance, you have said you would not have certified the last presidential election and would have asked the states to submit alternative electors. That has been called unconstitutional and illegal. Would you again seek to challenge this year's election results, even if every governor certifies the results? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, Nora, first of all, I think that we're focused on the future. We need to figure out how to solve the inflation crisis caused by Kamala Harris's policies, make housing affordable, make groceries affordable, and that's what we're focused on. But I want to answer your question because you did ask it. Look, what President Trump has said is that there were problems in 2020, and my own belief is that we should fight about those issues, debate those issues peacefully in the public square, and that's all I've said, and that's all that Donald Trump has said. Remember, he said that on January the 6th, the protesters ought to protest peacefully. And on January the 20th, what happened? Joe Biden became the president. Donald Trump left the White House. And now, of course, unfortunately, we have all of the negative policies that have come from the Harris-Biden administration. I believe that we actually do have a threat to democracy in this country, but unfortunately, it's not the threat to democracy that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz want to talk about. It is the threat of censorship. It's Americans casting aside lifelong friendships because of disagreements over politics. It's big technology companies silencing their fellow citizens. And it's Kamala Harris saying that rather than debate and persuade her fellow Americans, she'd like to censor people who engage in misinformation. I think that is a much bigger threat to democracy than anything that we've seen in this country in the last 4 years, in the last 40 years. Now, I'm really proud, especially given that I was raised by two lifelong blue-collar Democrats, to have the endorsement of Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, lifelong leaders in the Democratic coalition. And of course, they don't agree with me and Donald Trump on every issue. We don't have to agree on every issue, but we're united behind a basic American First Amendment principle that we ought to debate our differences. We ought to argue about them. We ought to try to persuade our fellow Americans. Kamala Harris is engaged in censorship at an industrial scale. She did it during COVID. She's done it over a number of other issues. And that, to me, is a much bigger threat to democracy than what Donald Trump said when he said that protesters should peacefully protest on January the 6th.
Governor?
Well, I've enjoyed tonight's debate, and I think there was a lot of commonality here. And I'm sympathetic to misspeaking on things, and I think I might have with the senator. But
me too, man.
There's one though that this one is troubling to me, and I say that because I think we need to tell the story. Donald Trump refused to acknowledge this, and the fact is that I don't think we can be the frog in the pot and let the boiling water go up. He was very clear. I mean, he lost this election, and he said he didn't. 140 police officers were beaten at the Capitol that day. Some with the American flag. Several later died, and it wasn't just in there.
Several later died.
In Minnesota, a group gathered on the state capitol grounds in St. Paul and said, "We're marching to the governor's residence, and there may be casualties." The only person there was my son and his dog, who was rushed out crying by state police. That issue, and Mike Pence standing there as they were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." Mike Pence made the right decision. So, Senator, it was adjudicated over and over and over. I worked with kids long enough to know, and I said as a football coach, sometimes you really want to win, but the democracy is bigger than winning an election. You shake hands, and then you try and do everything you can to help the other side win. That's what was at stake here. Now, the thing I'm most concerned about is the idea that imprisoning your political opponents, already laying the groundwork for people not accepting this. And a president's words matter. A president's words matter. People hear that. So I think this issue of settling our differences at the ballot box, shaking hands when we lose, being honest about it, but to deny what happened on January 6th, the first time in American history that a president or anyone tried to overturn a fair election and the peaceful transfer of power. And here we are 4 years later in the same boat. I will tell you this, that when this is over, we need to shake hands this election, and the winner needs to be the winner. This has got to stop. It's tearing our country apart.
Clip that.
Senator Vance, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, well, look, Tim, first of all, it's really rich for Democratic leaders to say that Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy when he peacefully gave over power on January the 20th, as we have done for 250 years in this country. We are going to shake hands after this debate and after this election. And of course, I hope that we win, and I think we're going to win. But if Tim Walz is the next vice president, he'll have my prayers, he'll have my best wishes, and he'll have my help whenever he wants it. But we have to remember that for years in this country, Democrats protested the results of elections. Hillary Clinton in 2016 said that Donald Trump had the election stolen by Vladimir Putin because the Russians bought like $500,000 worth of Facebook ads. This has been going on for a long time. And if we want to say that we need to respect the results of the election, I'm on board. But if we want to say, as Tim Walz is saying, that this is just a problem that Republicans have had, I don't buy that.
Governor.
January 6th was not Facebook ads. And I think a revisionist history on this. Look, I don't understand how we got to this point. But the issue was that happened. Donald Trump can do it. And all of us say there's no place for this. It has massive repercussions. This idea that there's censorship to stop people from threatening to kill someone, threatening to do something, that's not censorship. Censorship is book banning. We've seen that. We've seen that brought up. I just think for everyone tonight, and I'm going to thank Senator Vance. I think this is the conversation they want to hear. And I think there's a lot of agreement, but this is one that we are miles apart on. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020. We've talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it further. But you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook for saying that toddlers shouldn't wear masks.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Fire in a crowded theater. That is criticizing the policies of the government, which is the right of every American.
Senator, the governor does have the floor for 1 minute to respond to you.
Yeah. Well, I don't run Facebook. What I do know is I see a candidate out there who refused, and now again, and this, I'm pretty shocked by this. He lost the election. This is not a debate. It's not anything anywhere other than in
Why are we
Donald
talking
Trump's
about this,
world.
garbage?
Because look, when Mike Pence made that decision to certify that election, that's why Mike Pence isn't on this stage. What I'm concerned about is, where is the firewall with Donald Trump? Where is the firewall if he knows he could do anything, including taking an election, and his vice president's not going to stand to it? That's what we're asking you, America. Will you stand up? Will you keep your oath of office, even if the president doesn't? And I think Kamala Harris would agree.
What in the actual fuck is he talking about?
Because of course that's what we would do. So America, I think you've got a really clear choice on this election of who's going to honor that democracy and who's going to honor Donald Trump.
Governor, your time is up. Thank you, gentlemen. We will be right back with both of our candidates.
Yeah,
the CBS News vice presidential debate continues.
Bro, what?
I have no clue what that was the worst.
So mute the feed while we're talking, because I can't hear you over the feed.
That was the worst section in the entire debate. How is any of this going to solve anybody's problem? How?
I don't like, what does January, why he's struggling with January 6th? Like, why is that even a topic? Peaceful transfer of power. There was a peaceful transfer of power. What are you talking about? Joe Biden's in office. He didn't want to talk about censorship. He didn't want to talk about any of the things that actually matter to the American people. He lied and said cops died in the line of duty during the Capitol riot. No, they didn't. It's just not what happened. One person was unalive that day, and her name is Ashley Babbitt. Okay? You skirted around the fact that Zuckerberg literally came out and admitted to the White House pressuring him on COVID issues as well as politics. They've already come out and admitted all these things. Where have you been, Tim Walz?
Mm-hmm.
He is struggling in this debate.
He was making friends with school shooters. Man, he is going to regret saying that. He said it not once, but twice. And they are eating him alive. Trump is going to go live to apologize to the parents of children that were, killed in school shootings.
When's he going live?
I don't know. He didn't say it, but he said, I'm going live after this debate.
Wow.
Capitalize. JD Vance rose to the occasion tonight. I thought I was going to be bored. This guy is... I have a newfound respect for him. He's calm, cool, and collected. He's answering the questions. He's not letting anybody get him frazzled. This is how I wish Trump would have been against Kamala. But we're not even gonna go back to that blunder.
That's just not.
Shout out to JD
Soonie.
Vance.
What I tell you,
he's holding his own in this debate. I like this.
Didn't I tell y'all in
you did tell me
debate that this guy most likely will win the presidential campaign for this guy because he's a master debater.
Yeah, he was really good.
He's killing him.
This is a master class. He's dog walking. Let me say it again. Dog walking Temple.
Super calm. He was super calm.
Man, getting destroyed tonight, man.
No cops died in the line of duty during the Capitol riot. No cops did. They be lying.
I'm just showing the fact checks, y'all. Listen, this is a 2-woman show, and we're fact checking in real time what this guy is saying. That is just absolutely not true.
In real talk, if you guys are, I'm sure you guys are listening, but I do want to give a shout out to our help fact checkers, assistants. Okay, that they are just killing it in the chat. They're in our chat, not in your guys' chat, but they're helping. I mean, these people are fast. Like they need to be hired by the news, okay, to do fact checking because these people are quick.
First of all, don't be pawning the people off to the news. No, they need to be hired by Truth in the Marketplace Media.
We have some stuff in the works. Don't you worry.
Everybody in the comments section, come on, let's liven it up. Tell us what you're thinking about this debate. What do you think about JD? What do you think about Tim Walz? What are y'all's takes on this?
Vance,
it was excellent. Yeah, I think he helped. I think he helped a great deal in the progress of where this is going. He spoke so well. He came with the facts. He was unemotional. Okay. He made very good jabs in a way that if you didn't know that that's what he was doing, it was almost undetectable.
Like you said, mind fuck.
Yeah, he mind fuck. Like when and I was trying to search to see if there was anything about Tim Walz's son witnessing a shooting.
Ooh, let's get into that after this.
Okay, you got something?
Let's get into that after this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go ahead and cut the volume up, Liddell.
It should be up.
Oh, it's on mute. Hold on.
That's my fault.
To Dick Cheney, to Taylor Swift, and a whole bunch of folks in between there. And they don't all agree on everything, but they are truly optimistic people. They believe in a positive future of this country and one where our politics can be better than it is. And I have to tell you, that better than it is the sense of optimism that there can be an opportunity economy that works for everyone, not just to get by, but to get ahead. And the idea that freedom really means something, not the freedom of government to be in your bedroom or exam room, but the freedom for you to make choices about yourself. Now, look, we all know who Donald Trump is. He's told us, and as Maya Angelou said, believe him when he told you that. His first inaugural address talked about American carnage. And then he spent 4 years trying to maybe do that. Senator Vance tonight made it clear he will stand with Donald Trump's agenda. He will continue to push down that road. Excuse me. Kamala Harris gives us a different option. Now, I'll have to tell you, I'm going to be careful about the quotes, but there's one that Senator Vance said that does resonate with me. He said, Donald Trump makes the people I care about afraid. A lot of America feels that way. We don't need to be afraid. Franklin Roosevelt was right. All we have to fear is fear itself. Kamala Harris is bringing us a new way forward. She's bringing us a politics of joy. She's bringing real solutions for the middle class, and she's centering you at the heart of that. All the while asking everyone, join this movement, make your voices heard. Let's look for a new day where everybody gets that opportunity and everybody gets a chance to thrive. I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th for Kamala Harris.
Governor Walz,
That
thank
was
you.
trash.
Senator Vance, your closing statement.
Well, I want to thank Governor Walz, you folks at CBS, and of course the American people for tuning in this evening. And one of the issues we didn't talk about was energy. And I remember when I was being raised by my grandmother, when she didn't have enough money to turn on the heat some nights because Ohio gets pretty cold at night and because money was often very tight. And I believe, as a person who wants to be your next vice president, that we are a rich and prosperous enough country where every American, whether they're rich or poor, ought to be able to turn on their heat in the middle of a cold winter night. That's gotten more difficult thanks to Kamala Harris's energy policies. I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford a nice meal for your family. That's gotten harder because of Kamala Harris's policies. I believe whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford to buy a house. You ought to be able to live in safe neighborhoods. You ought to not have your communities flooded with fentanyl. And that too has gotten harder with Kamala because of Kamala Harris's policies. Now, I've been in politics long enough to do what Kamala Harris does when she stands before the American people and says that on day one, she's going to work on all these challenges I just listed. She's been the vice president for 3.5 years. Day one was 1,400 days ago, and her policies have made these problems worse. Now, I believe that we have the most beautiful country in the world. I meet people on the campaign trail who can't afford food, but have the grace and generosity to ask me how I'm doing and to tell me they're praying for my family. What that has taught me is that we have the greatest country, the most beautiful country, going to be able to achieve their full dreams with the broken leadership that we have in Washington. They're not going to be able to live their American dream if we do the same thing that we've been doing for the last 3.5 years. We need change. We need a new direction. We need a president who has already done this once before and did it well. Please vote for Donald Trump. And whether you vote for me or vote for Tim Walz, I just want to say I'm so proud to be doing this, and I'm rooting for you. God bless you, and good night.
Senator Vance, thank you. And thank you both for participating in the only vice presidential debate of this election cycle. I'm Margaret Brennan.
And I'm Nora O'Donnell. And a reminder, there are just 35 days until Election Day. Please get out and vote. And for all of us here at CBS.
Wow.
All right, guys. All right. That's it. That is it, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Gotcha, man. It's
so here's Trump being petty.
Yo, that's funny. Not friends with school shooters. I want to put that on a shirt.
Wow.
I would so wear that, bro.
Oh man, Trump was going in. There's so much on there that I couldn't post because it was like, pictures and memes, but he was going in.
Okay.
He was going in.
Oh man. This was a really good debate.
Super good.
I was thoroughly surprised. There was a lot of things that I knew. There were a lot of things that I learned. This guy is smart.
Yeah.
And I can see why Trump picked him. He picks up where Trump lacks tremendously.
Big time.
And if he were to run in 2028, I would definitely vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the ticket for 2028 would be no. I would say it would be Vance Vivek.
Oh, somebody was saying Tulsi or Vance and Tulsi, but no woman.
No, I could probably see that Tulsi potentially, but I would say Vivek because Vivek he fillet him. He would fillet him. They're afraid of that dude.
That would be a powerhouse for sure.
I
I
sat
sat in the office with those
I
Sandy
sat
Hook
in
par-
that
oh, yeah.
office with those Sandy Hook parents, and I became friends with school shooters. I've seen it.
Yeah.
But you know what they're gonna do? This is what they're gonna do. They're going to say this is just a part of Tim Walz and him being an American. He misspoke. I'm telling you, watch how they spin it.
Mm-hmm.
He misspoke. We all
Yeah.
know he's not saying he's friend with school shooters. He's an American just like you are. And he sat on the stage and said it. It was just him speaking. He didn't mean what he said, y'all. Don't listen to him.
Corey, I didn't say that's what I wanted. I said that's what I could see happening. Relax. Calm your tits there, Corey.
Calm your tits. Oh God.
Yeah, I have almost nothing negative to say about Vance's performance. Tim Walz, he's not a killer, okay? And they put him there because he can be walked all over. He's weak. He's not smart. He looked terrified the entire debate. He just looked petrified at everything that JD was saying. And yeah, the thought of him and Kamala running this country and putting the fear of God in these corrupt world leaders that, try to come for us. It's never going to happen. These people are going to ruin us. If you guys don't see it after this debate, you're blind.
I agree. I mean, I said it. I don't have anything else. And I was surprised. I liked hearing what he had to say. I like hearing him combat a lot of what Tim Walz had to say. And I think we're going to start to see, because of how ineffective Kamala Harris was, and this is just my opinion on this, I think we're going to start to see VPs play a different role than they've played than what we're used to. I think we're going to see a lot of Tim Walz. I mean, JD Vance.
Ojo.
Especially now.
The VP position is going to be just as important as the presidential position because Kamala is setting the precedent for that. You can't go back to VPs being virtually silent and out of the line after ridiculing her for 4 years straight. You just can't do that.
Whoa, Dad. Mm-hmm.
Now, did he go in when they were talking about the immigration bill? I wanted him, and I thought I was listening to hear him, but did Vance go into why they keep saying the Republicans shot it down, Trump and his people shot it down?
No, he didn't do it.
He didn't do it. Why did they keep missing that opportunity? It's so crucial to people who don't know that.
Yeah, and we can kind of walk through what was actually in that bill.
Yeah.
Real quickly. I actually have it right here. Don't you worry. Actually, some called reading the bill. This so-called bipartisan bill, which only one Republican voted for. One. So bipartisan. And then you actually have the Democrats, most of the Democrats on the Senate side voted against it. You know, Cory Booker, Bernie Sanders, they voted against it. Even Elizabeth Warren voted against it. Such bipartisanship. This is what's in the bill. The bill would enshrine catch and release into law. It automatically creates work permits for illegal immigrants. Taxpayers are forced to pay for lawyers for illegal immigrants. $5,000 per day would be permitted as federal law, right? As a cap. Billions of taxpayers' money would go to sanctuary cities and non-GMOs organizations to deal with illegal immigrants, right? And here's the kicker. A president can waive all the statutes in the law just by notifying Congress. Such border security.
Yeah.
Straight trash.
And $60 billion to Ukraine.
Trash.
Yeah. So when you hear that Trump shot that bill down, please know that that's why he shot it down. That's why the Republicans voted against it, or the Republicans that voted against it did, because it wasn't about protecting our borders at all.
No, it wasn't. It was about sending money out of the country. And it wasn't even just Ukraine spending in it. Republicans had Israel spending in it as well. So
Sure did.
I agree. Me and Liddell have these like strategy building sessions. And it's so fun. I wish people could witness these conversations we have. He said, we need to really hyper focus on how the Harris and Walz administration, as well as the Harris administration, ever since Joe Biden has admitted that he delegated foreign policy and domestic policy to her, I've just been holding her responsible for what's going on in this country. But their attempts to completely push off responsibility on Congress is something that we should highlight, because they're at the executive branch, like you mentioned earlier. Do something about the border. You want to run on the border just as much as Trump does, but you are running on it from the premise of Congress isn't doing anything. We need the American people to be secure and safe while doing absolutely nothing. And do they not go back and forth with Texas and Florida 24/7 about them being in control of immigration?
Yeah. And I was
So
going
all
to
the
say
time.
this. She was the tie-breaking vote on many issues
Sooner,
related
There
to
you go.
inflation.
Sooner, can I bring up another point when it comes to border security?
Yeah,
If
let me hear it.
if Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were so interested in securing the border, and this executive order that you said, guys, that was written a month ago solved it, why did you wait 3.5 years to write the executive order? Number two, why did you go on when he first got in office? Why did you get on TV and brag about rescinding all of Trump's executive orders when it comes to securing the border? Why? Why did you actually, when Texas was trying to secure its border, right? Why did you take them to court to thwart them from doing that? I thought you were for border security. I'm confused. If you're saying that this executive order is so profound, why'd you wait 3.5 years to write it? I am confused. Help me, nigga. Help me.
He said, help me. Nigga, please. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. I'm glad that we do have some opposition in the comment section, even if I don't think that Corey is worthy opposition on this subject. You are dedicated. You are dedicated and addicted. And I want you to know that I have officially diagnosed you, Corey. I held off for years. But what you suffer from, sir, is Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
You do.
Milk.
You have moments. I feel like there's like, you know how some people that are kind of loopy, crazy, they come to and they come back to reality. Every now and then I'm like, okay, he's coming back. And then I watch him come into these lives and he just, man, Trump derangement syndrome is real, bro. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Let's go a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper on the border, y'all. Again, this is for the side that says that you're for border security. February 2021, she was made the border czar / leader. She said that she would put in place to solve the root causes of it. She went down to Mexico, met with the Mexico president and other Central America dignitaries. Came back with a prescription report saying that because of cartels, as well as drugs and gangs and corruption, right? That's the issue.
This is true.
And she prescribed $9 billion will solve the problem. Get this, guys. She's saying corruption is the issue, but she's sending $9 billion to a corrupt nation. That makes sense. No, that's not. Then what actually happens is, here, guys, is 5 billion goes out of the 9 billion. 5 billion goes to Mexico. 4 billion goes over to Central America. Guys, that was in 2021 or 2022. What happened after that, guys?
22.
She said $9 billion is going to solve the problem. What happened after that? Simple. Tell me why, if $9 billion was supposed to solve the problem for corrupt countries, why did illegal I'm still here. Why did illegal immigration crossings spike? Why did it shoot up? I thought $9 billion was supposed to solve it. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Help me,
Orb.
nigga.
They're never gonna come out and admit it's $9 billion. It's right here. For anybody who doesn't know what Liddell's talking about, I'm gonna share it on the screen real quick. Oh, it is up there. This is what she found during her examination of what the root cause was, and they threw money at it. A total of $9.2 billion. Okay, and look at what they called it. This is the buzzword that Democrats have been using like crazy since 2020. Private public investment from the U.S. Everything that we've been doing with this administration has been an investment. The American population should be asking, where is their return? It's been 4 years.
Preach. Come on, preach the gospel. Preach the gospel.
It's been 4. Do we need another 8? So what happens in 2028 when the infrastructure bill, right? That investment still hasn't materialized. Then what? What other investment did we just have? They kept calling it an investment. The
Chip Act,
Inflation Production Act.
Yep. The IPA, Inflation Production Act. Production. Yeah, production. Yeah, that's right.
Investments on top of investments. Aren't you tired of investing and not getting anything? Like it's like you're constantly putting shit into Wall Street and you lose it every time.
Trash. Horse manure.
Come on, man.
Garbage.
This was a fun debate. I had fun. I was entertained.
Hey,
I didn't get bored.
Let me ask a question.
I had fun. What's up?
So I'm seeing a lot of chatter online from people that are like, if this guy Vance were running for president, I would have no problem voting for him.
Absolutely. If this guy was running for president,
yeah,
he would have. It would be a landslide victory.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying, like people who don't like Trump's personality and the way he talks and all this other stuff, they're like, now put this guy in and I'll vote for him. Yeah.
Yes.
That's interesting. I was just checking Walz's Twitter to see if he's going to say that he misspoke on the school shooter comment.
Let me go in real fast on these 4 people that said I don't like Donald Trump's his delivery. Get over your damn feelings. Please miss me with that. You have the same perspective when it comes to your manager. How about your CEO or your COO? Huh? How about that? You have that same mentality, that same energy. No, you don't at all. Miss me with all that BS. Get out of your damn feelings and vote on policy.
I agree.
Trash.
I agree.
Man. This is I'm cool voting for, I'm actually cool voting for Trump at this point.
Listen,
I'm not gonna say why out loud. I'll tell you behind the scenes. Because if I say it on here, it's gonna ruin it. Oh God, what is this?
This is just funny.
Senator Langford did it. We could come together and solve this. If we
I just posted that.
Soonie, you need to grab this face. You need to grab that.
I did. I already posted it.
That's so funny. No, I mean like grab it for the show. Like we need it as like a little, when somebody's talking crazy.
This is what I posted.
You should put do that. You should do that. You should play that video, Soonie, and whenever somebody actually say something stupid, just zoom and say, "Oh my God."
Yeah, with that picture in it.
That would be funny.
Oh my God.
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
There's gonna be
the question is this is a good question, Caleb. The bar is low for Democrats at this point. The bar is so low that y'all are running with the candidate that you didn't even select. You're running with the candidate that was literally injected by the establishment to run as a Democratic nominee. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Get out of here. But Caleb just asked a really good question. Is policy intrinsically linked to the person delivering it?
Damn, that's a good question.
It is a good question.
It says policy intrinsically linked to the person delivering. Yes, it is, because the person that's delivering is stating their vision. The execution of that vision is within its team. So I would say yes, it is. But that's why it's more of. That's why for me it's more of. Yeah, I hear your vision, but tell me how you're going to accomplish it.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing when
Yeah.
it comes to
Exactly.
Kamala Harris. All this opportunity economy. What is that? Like, tell me what that is.
Yeah, what is
And they
that?
should like
Yeah.
what's that mean? And why haven't you put this in place now?
Yeah.
If it's so good, hell, if it's so good, why don't you do it?
Right.
Resign and be part of your opportunity economy. Show us how it's done, Kamala.
Why don't you
Someone's
talk about
asking,
this,
am I
Soonie?
voting?
Everybody,
So,
Sue, are you voting?
everybody's asking. So I was like contemplating. I was sitting contemplating, and I said, I don't like Trump because of my own personal reasons. And I'm allowed to have those reasons. I'm allowed to speak out on it. And I could criticize him until the day he comes home. Okay. When he's in office, when he gets on the stage and he talks about the LGBTQ, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit on the stage and say, this is disgusting. What the f- are you talking about? When he gets on the stage, I see Corey. When he gets on the stage and he acts like a Zionist, you know what I'm going to say? I am disgusted with Zionism. But the fact of the matter is that the guy has policies that are best for this country. And I'm affected at a federal level. I'm married to a service member. I would love to think that my vote really doesn't mean anything, but people fought and died for this. So here I go. I just decided to give unto Caesar what is Caesar's and continue to give unto the Lord what is his. I'm just going to separate the two. I still think his stances on a lot of these things are completely immoral. Okay. But he's not a perfect candidate, and we live in a very flawed reality. There it is. There it is.
I just want to say that you're welcome, everybody, because if it wasn't for my constant influence on Soonie, this admission would have never happened. So, America, Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, I gained you the impossible vote. You're welcome.
Come on. Yeah, Bryson is not voting. He already said it. Bryson isn't voting. And listen,
great for Bryson.
That's still my brother. I was just texting Bryson. We're trying to link up to do a song. He's not voting, but you know what let's do this. What he's not doing is voting for Trump, but he is still participating in the voting process. And I think that your vote is more useful at a state level. I'm still going to stand on that. It's at a state level, period. I'm more focused on Nevada. This is where I'm a citizen. I'm no longer a citizen in North Carolina. So you guys are going to hear me talk about a lot of Nevada politics. I'm not conceding. I'm just accepting what is. None of my views as a Christian will ever be represented in politics.
Hallelujah.
It just won't. Or Washington.
Come on.
You want to hear a crazy fact? I know this is really random, but I was talking to a voter in Arizona, and they told me, I didn't know this. They told me that in order to vote in Arizona's local elections, you must have an Arizona ID. But if you want to vote in federal elections, you do not need an ID. That's crazy.
Arizona?
Federal. For president. Yeah. So you can vote for president. Anybody can vote for president. But if you want to vote locally, you have to have an Arizona ID.
Of course.
That's crazy.
Of course. What they do?
He said, get your ass to Arizona. Hey, man, you right across the border. You can come over here. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. It's right there. That is Arizona's law.
I'm going to say my piece, and then I'm going to get out. I'm married with 2 kids.
Yeah.
And she's giving me some grace. Give me some grace because I didn't eat dinner with them this evening. So they gave me grace. And it is homecoming weekend, a homecoming week for my daughter. Y'all pray for your part.
Does she have a date?
Child, yes.
Yeah. I saw the last one that took her out on a date or to a dance. How you look, that poor kid.
It's the same one. I told that young man, I said, brother, you're looking real casket sharp today. Obituary ready. You want to see Jesus in person? We can make that happen tonight. Tonight.
Oh man.
His dad was like, listen to that man. But listen to that man. Like I said, my man. Yes, sir. Shoot. I want a home at 10.
Yeah.
He had a home at 9:45. My man.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Very
Anyways,
good.
I would say so pray for me, y'all. JD Vance dog walked this dude. This was a debate masterclass. I knew that this would actually happen. But I think that JD Vance did a good job for Donald Trump. This kind of may have stung people to say, you know what, I may vote for Trump because that dude is behind him. I mean, he's head and shoulders better than Mike Pence. I mean, Mike Pence look like a robot, but he is what it is. We're gonna see what actually happens after this. He did. He was like a war bride. He was just that guy. But great job, JD Vance. Good stuff, man. Still waiting on Kamala Harris to let us know what opportunity kind of looks like. Just say, is it Legos? Is it Ghostbusters movies? What is it? We don't know what it is yet. But we have to go see. But guys, I hope this is wonderful, cool. This is head and shoulders better than that presidential debacle. Donald Trump, player. If you ever want to learn how to debate, just re-listen to this one on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
On repeat. Okay, listen, nothing else but this one. Okay, lose every other debate thing you have. Listen to JD. That's it. JD equals debate. That's it. That's it. Okay. But anyways, guys, God bless you guys, man. Stay blessed, and I look better than everybody on the screen besides the two women. All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one, Adele.
Yeah.
Y'all need to be fact checked. You have to show at least 1 or 3 proof of identification. Corey,
it's different.
There are Arizonians on this live telling you that you are wrong. She made us. She specified local and federal. Which one do you want to fact check, buddy?
And P.S. Okay, I was told that by a blue-haired liberal from Arizona. Okay, so it wasn't even a Republican person; it was a liberal person telling me what the situation was. Maybe I should question it, but she told me.
Don't listen, Mo. That Trump
Your people
derangement
told me,
syndrome
Corey.
is real. I used to just say it to trigger people. Trump derangement syndrome is real. It needs to be studied. There should be a documentary on this where all of you like SJW, what do you call them? Psychologists out there that like to turn everything into a fucking experiment. Why don't y'all go study that shit?
Right.
We need to know.
It's okay. What do you call me? Do you call me a Trumplican? Trump, is that what you call me? What is it that you call me? Trumplican?
You're a Trumplican.
Yeah. So see, Corey, you're not alone. You have
not a
Trump
Republican,
derangement
you're a
syndrome.
Trumplican.
You have Trump derangement syndrome. I am a Trumplican. We've all got our issues. Don't worry about it.
We got a Call 45er in here. Shout out to the Call 45.
Call 45.
We got Antifa in here. We got left-leaning people here. Like, everybody's here. Everyone's here. Come to the barbecue.
Oh man, Donald Trump, he's truthing. He says, "Why aren't the after shows talking about the fact that Walz
Pull
said
it
I'm
up.
friends
I
with
want to see this.
scooters?" No, he's truthing like
see this.
he's posting it. Hold on, let's see.
Oh, okay.
He's making a big deal about the. There he goes, right there.
Why aren't the after shows talking about the fact that Walz said I'm friends with school shooters? Exactly.
Yeah. I'm actually
we got
looking
Gen Z
to
in
see
here
if he goes live, but he said he was going to go live.
True Social. I'm still not on True Social, and I live in America now.
Yeah.
I refuse to get on here.
So Trump
Wait a
said
minute.
JD crushed it. Hold on.
Walz was a low IQ disaster.
Oh, he
Very
said that
much
all
like
throughout.
Kamala. He called him a low IQ disaster.
I love how he ended it with I can't.
Trump is petty.
He's so petty. But I love when he gets petty.
Can you imagine insulting someone and saying, "You're a low IQ disaster"?
Yeah, exactly. Dude, he's so petty.
I'm gonna say that to somebody.
What else did he post that was petty?
That just made me cry.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. He posted this. Let's see what this is. Wait, is this it or no? Okay, here we go. Why is it not playing? It's not playing.
I just want to hear him say it.
He said it twice. That's what he was saying about the school shooter thing. It's a disqualifier. Look at the memes he was dropping. Like, he's crazy.
Yo, I'm sorry, y'all. Can you pull that tweet back up?
Which one? This?
Pull that tweet back up. No, the one where he said he's a low IQ disaster.
Oh,
I want to read the whole thing. I got tears in my eyes.
Oh, Lord, Soonie.
Very much like Kamala. Oh, shit, bro. Whew. Our country would never be able to recover from an administration of these two. Can you imagine them representing us with sharp, fierce foreign leaders? I can't.
Oh, God.
Get his ass off the internet, bro.
I know,
off
right?
The internet.
Who gave him a platform? Who gave him a platform? I was waiting to see if he was
real
lying.
tears. When you say something stupid, you are a low IQ disaster. What did you just say?
Oh, so this guy,
bro, that
Andrew
took me out.
Pollock, he tweeted, "My daughter was killed in the Parkland school shooting. It's absolutely abhorrent that Tim Walz has befriended school shooters." Oh, Lord.
I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it.
Oh.
Let me get that clip.
So I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it.
Did Tampon Tim just say he became friends with school shooters?
What is Tampon Tim?
Did Tampon Tim just say he
this off
became
the
friends? Oh, God. See?
Take this old man off the screen.
This is why you gotta love the guy. You gotta love the guy.
Dog.
Look at that. I'm a knucklehead.
I'm a knucklehead.
Oh,
can you send me that clip of him saying, "I'm friends with school shooters"?
Yeah. I'll have to record it because from here it only sends you a link to True Social. He's tricky like that.
Yeah, send it to me. I can access it.
Oh, I think I can send it in
Just
WhatsApp.
send me that
Okay.
link. Soonie's laugh is unbeatable. Bro, people tell me my laugh is contagious. I don't even like my laugh. But that's
really is.
Yo, do you see my eyes? That fucking took me out.
Yeah.
This man. Tim Walz ain't coming out of hiding until it's time to vote. He got destroyed tonight.
You're funny.
That nigga going in hiding. We ain't gonna see him. Not another. Kamala is pissed. She's like,
I know.
Wait a minute. Remember we was talking earlier, Pinky? Say it again. Say it one more time. That's what Kamala over there. Say it again, nigga, and it's over. She mad. She's like, how many times you gonna say you friends with school shooters?
Well, it's funny because I've been checking his tweet or his X page to see if he's responded to that because it's like trending, right? And he hasn't said nothing, and I'm like, oh shit, he's getting his beating right now. He is getting.
I'm an American. I'm an American just like you are, and I misspoke. My wife's a grammar teacher, and she tells me all the time about how I speak. It's just gonna be a misspoke. He misspoke. That's it.
Yeah.
Kamala about to debo Tim Walz, bro.
Man, and if you look on Twitter, a lot of people are like you that they had no idea that JD was like this.
No, because he's so boring in any other discussion. Like I've watched him.
Yeah.
Extensively, I've watched him. I like what he has to say, but I'm like, this is boring. Tonight he surprised me. He definitely earned a vote. That's for sure.
Yeah. It'll be interesting
I'm
to
sorry,
see if
y'all.
the polls if the polls kind of fluctuate after this.
They already did. There was a poll
they?
that the FAFO crew put it in the viral inbox. There was a poll that dropped.
Oh shit.
Well, if he misspoke, what the was he trying to say then? That's the question that we need to be asking, Crazy. What was he trying to say? Who, if he wasn't friends with school shooters, who he friends with?
Right. Because if so, you know what, if
Come
somebody would have dropped the N-word, okay, and said, "Oh, I misspoke," that wouldn't have flown with people, right?
Thank you.
So you can't misspeak on being friends with school shooters.
I need to go to bed, Trump, bro.
Yeah,
Trump is funny as hell, man.
He's the man. I love him.
Oh, well, this was our Tuesday show, y'all. We're gonna have our next Tuesday when we have the show. It'll be flowing better. I don't think we'll be stopping and starting as much.
Because I'm going to the Usher concert. I'm going to the Usher concert on Thursday. I'm contributing to Usher's legal to fund. Get him while he's free.
Y'all, you better start. Listen, everybody, Liddell, if you're still here, get your oil up tonight. And everybody, pray that the Lord camp their ministering angels around Mo, so she don't take her Latina ass on the stage and go viral, bro. I'm gonna be like, I don't know her. I don't know who that is.
Listen, I'm basing my
Don't
whole
you get your
outfit-
ass up on that stage.
I'm basing my whole outfit on the hopes that somebody sees me by like the t-shirt vendors and it'll be like, hey, you want to come up on stage so Usher can like dance on you? And then while he's there, I'm gonna be like, hey, you want to come on somewhere in the middle real to talk to us about this Diddy shit? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna work business into it, but I'm just saying.
You want to come talk about this Diddy shit? Why you sound like Tyrone Biggums? You like, hey.
I'll be like, what do you know about the Meek Mill audio? Is that shit real? Like, dude, I'm gonna be asking him all kinds of questions.
Talk about the diddler?
Right.
Oh gosh.
And Usher gonna be like, there.
This was fun, y'all. I think I need to get on True Social just to laugh because that man is funny as hell, bro. I'm telling you, I'm taking that insult. I'm gonna say that tomorrow on TikTok.
Yeah.
You are a low IQ disaster. This is up there with the Billy Madison clip. You know what I'm talking about? Where he says what you said was incredibly stupid, and no one here has learned anything from listening to you. May God rest your soul. I award you no points. That's up there with that.
Yeah.
For me.
It really is. It's kind of it's actually neck and neck with you cannot be unburdened by or unburden yourself by what has been or whatever the fucking saying was. It's like I want to use both of them all the time is what I'm saying.
Now, Julius, pause. Hey, yo, man. How you know that, cuz?
Yeah. Julius, how do you know it was from Gabe? Oh, Lord. I don't want to know, Julius.
Hey, yo, Julius. How you know that, cuz? Where you get that information from? Cuz.
Oh, unburden yourself by what has been, Julius.
He said Twitter comments.
Oh, blame it on the Twitter. Oh, you misspoke? Oh, you misspoke? Okay.
Oh, snap. Julius, tell me what you thought about the debates later. If you watched it. We have been live for 3 hours and 31 minutes. I would like to get off my butt and go have dinner because I had my white boy tacos. Y'all, the white boy taco, can I be honest with you?
It was good.
It was kind of busting, bro.
Okay.
I'm gonna make another one. I still got some I got the white boy taco meat right here. Still here. I might make another one.
See, I would just go get some Ritz crackers and eat that. Dang, I gotta pee, but my mouth is watering.
The white boy taco.
I'll try it. I will try it because I do experiment with food, so I will try it. But yeah, I gotta pee. I gotta pee and I gotta eat more.
Go pee. I'll close out since you opened up.
No, it's okay. I'll stick with you through the end.
Before I want to tell y'all real quick. She's hating on the white boy tacos while literally putting Kool-Aid in her tuna. Has anybody ever heard?
I dip my tuna sandwich in Kool-Aid. Yes, it's bomb.
Bruh.
It's so good. It's gotta be. It's
Am I
gotta
shadow
be like
banning this chat. No,
it's gotta be Hawaiian Punch or Kool-Aid. And it's got to be on Wonder Bread.
God, it's all right. You didn't. My stomach hurt. That don't even sound appetizing. Y'all got to try the white boy tacos. Put some hot sauce on it, and a little bit of celery seed seasoning. Is that what it's called? Celery salt.
Celery salt.
Can't go wrong. Don't do the pepper and the salt. Don't listen to the seasonings. Just
put some Lowry's on it.
You said, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Don't knock it till you try it.
I'm gonna dip my tuna sandwich in Kool-Aid.
Dude, I just
All
might
right,
I just might go get I don't have any Kool-Aid, so I might have to go get some.
No,
but that's
how about you don't do that? No. Don't do that. See,
Dude,
somebody says, see the hot sauce. The hot sauce made it not okay. What if I put Tabasco sauce? You know that's what white folks use. They don't be using.
Did you put Tabasco?
Red hot. No, I'm saying if I did put Tabasco sauce on it, would that make it a white boy taco?
Tabasco, yeah.
I
don't like
Tabasco.
Tabasco.
One of a kind. Guess because you're not white.
Oh, okay.
Ask Dave. Where Dave at? Ask Dave if he likes Tabasco sauce.
No, I mean he doesn't hate it, but he uses like Valentina sauce, the Mexican hot sauce.
Oh, it's because he's married to you. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But I'm not Mexican.
He's a contaminated white man.
I'm not Mexican.
Yeah, but y'all up in there together.
No, we're not. Puerto Ricans don't put hot sauce on shit.
Hey, how do y'all tell the difference between Puerto Ricans and Mexicans? Because I can't. I don't know what none of y'all are.
Let me not be bad right now, because I can tell you the difference, but let me not go there.
I don't even. Yeah, never mind. I don't know why I asked you that. You're the wrong person to be asking this type of question to. Don't tell me. I'm scared.
I'm gonna get us banned.
Lord. Well, we will see you guys next Tuesday. You guys will see me floating around, popping around on TikTok, on YouTube. Yeah, that's about it. Do you have anything going on this week?
Nope. I'll report after the Usher concert.
You never go live. You need to go live.
I don't. I know. I never go live. I actually, like I told you, I want to try to go live more on TikTok, but I need to learn the ways from the master, from you. So I've been trying to join your lives so I can slide up in there, but
oh yeah,
we'll see.
Oh, there's no Diddy. Yeah.
But we will talk about Diddy.
I'm in a goofy mood.
We'll talk about Diddy next Tuesday.
We will talk
y'all.
about Diddy. Yeah. I'm not gonna have a lot to say about Diddy because Diddy's been weird
Yeah, you will.
forever. He X to the Z exhibits that are on the foxhole. P Diddy like fingers in the booty. That's all I needed to know. When you do that, you're open to anything.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about anything.
Yeah. If you let somebody put their fingers in your booty, you're nasty.
Tank. We ain't gonna bring that up. Guys, if this did not help you make your choice tonight, then you are just not going to make the right choice. Trump and JD Vance, they're the best options we have. This is what it is. Can't let Kamala win. America will never vote in a third party, and this is just the hand that we were dealt, and we need to be able to deal with it. So thanks for hanging out with us. That's all I got. You got
That's
anything
all I
else?
got. Nope, that's it. Bye, guys. Love you.
Peace out.
You are now tuned into Somewhere in the Middle with Soonie and Mo.
Hey, 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 hey.
Bro. Where's the outro?
So when you're done getting high, and it's over.